Did you see the reaction in Philly?
No, I did not.
Because they made the playoffs in a shootout.
Yeah, I know. They were down 2 in that game, came back. Everything's settled. I mean, it's amazing though. Poor Anaheim looks to me to have the toughest schedule. They play the Wild. It's the only out of those 3 teams. It's the only one that plays a playoff team. And I know the Wild have nothing to play for, but we could conceivably get Kings Oilers again.
I know, which would just be dirty. Well, no, hold on, wait. So the Kings can end up being the first wild card?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, they're that close to Utah?
Yeah, they're a point apart. Anaheim has not. I mean, Edmonton could be a wild card.
No. But the Kings, they're in 4th place in that division. What's their point total?
89.
What's Utah's point total?
90.
Oh, wow. See, Utah
Anaheim's is 90. Edmonton's is 90. David, Edmonton's is 91.
I know. And Vegas is 93.
But the Kings and Anaheim both have 2 games left. Edmonton has 1.
Right.
So that, I mean, conceivably,
LA could finish second.
Correct. With 22 regulation wins, by the way.
I know. Well, hell, last week, didn't they have 19 before they got hot? 19 before they got hot.
So, I mean,
golly.
And if Edmonton wins and Vegas loses in regulation, they're tied, but Edmonton is more regulation.
Right.
I mean, it's
right.
Not that I care. I really don't care about that division, but it's like
Vegas.
I don't know it very well.
Right. Vegas needs a point, right? A point.
But they only have 1 game left.
Right. Well, I mean, but they're 6-0-1 under Torts.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. On this Tuesday, hope your week got off to a good start. How you feeling? Everybody doing okay? Well, I was hoping for a little more response than that, but we'll get to it. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Top of the morning to you, Mark. I know your son had to go back to his life in Eastern North Carolina yesterday. I hope he traveled safely and all that. How are you?
I'm good. He's actually leaving this morning. He went back to Southwest Florida and picked his sister up from school and got to hang out with her for one more day. So he's at the airport right now, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
I've not heard any, no text. So that means TSA was a breeze. That's the only thing that I would have been concerned with. I know the family had a very early get up in order to get him to the airport and my daughter to school. So I've left them alone this morning because I think they're cursing me.
I was going to say, when you're not the earliest wake up in the family's off to an early start.
You got that right. No doubt. And, last night I just kind of took off from sports because I can't, and I've said it before, just because I have the ESPN Plus package for hockey, and I don't have the local sports cable channels. So I'm blacked out from my hockey team, the Lightning. So I couldn't watch them win last night.
Oh, which is funny because I thought they were playing a team that up until recently you were very fond of.
Up until recently, that's correct, David. But I will say a couple of things just to keep you on your toes this morning.
Okay.
One, I did watch some TV. Mom's up taking care of me, so I've been watching Landman, and she's like, I want to watch more of that show. I know you're halfway through a second season, but I like it. So we watched a couple episodes of Landman, had a little dinner.
Good.
And while I was watching Landman, a thought occurred to me, David, and I'm going to ask Pat later in the show, who does he think are some real values on day 3 as far as running backs are concerned? because as you mentioned, Love's the first round guy. Price, the other Notre Dame running back, there's a chance he could slip into the late first round, but probably a second round pick. But I'm just wondering, you saw this. I'm intrigued by this Coleman guy from Washington on day 3, David.
Well, he ain't going to make it to day 3.
You don't think?
No, I don't. I think he's a day 2 guy, but it'll be interesting if Pat thinks he's a day 3 guy. Washington's got a receiver and a running back. I think there's a chance the receiver goes Thursday, and I think the running back's going to go Friday, but we'll see.
Yeah, I do think Boston, the receiver, could go late in the first round. I'm with you there. That's to be honest, David, you bring up another valid point, because there are many teams who are looking at receiver to someone. I don't know if there's a receiver good enough to jump back in the first round for. But, you mentioned the Jets. Did the Dolphins take a receiver with their second pick of the first round? It's a valid point, David. When you talk about receivers, how's the back end of the first round Thursday going to go?
I need to call your mom. I need to talk to your mom. No, I didn't say right this second. I didn't say during the first break. All right. But I think I need to call your mom at some point. I need to say, listen, it's been about a week and a half since, you've been around your son. Can I tell you what's happened during that week and a half? All right. Because you may need to have a Cher Nicolas Cage Moonstruck, moment, because he's gone down the rabbit hole. Can you get him to just watch Landman for a couple days? No sports. Okay, he's literally not allowed by law to put on the 4-letter network, and NFL Network is NFLN. He's not allowed to put that 4-letter network on either. Okay, he needs a break.
David, I don't even watch the 4-letter network, nor do I watch the NFL Network. What I have done is I read.
I know.
When a television show's on, David, I've become you. I scroll through X, and all of a sudden someone will write something about the draft. And I went, that's interesting. Let's read that article. David, I read an article on interior defensive linemen yesterday, and I looked at all of the players in that, because it's another spot, believe it or not, that intrigues me. Some people have the Ohio State kid ranked number 1. Some people have Banks there from Florida ranked number 1. So these are also guys. David, by the way, also players. Could some of them sneak into the back end of the first round?
I think we should come up with a poll question. All right. What's a sexier topic? All right. Interior defensive lineman, English literature. All right.
Let's along with my English literature teacher. And, that was the teacher that everybody thought, believe it or not, this is a teacher in today's world. She might have got arrested.
Okay. Great.
But I'll just say, the other thing.
Hold on. I didn't say the teacher of English literature. Okay. The question is specifically, what's sexier? What's a sexier topic? Interior. Once again, the options are interior defensive lineman, English literature, interior defensive lineman, Faulkner. Okay. That's basically what the discussion is.
In that class, David, you're making me go way back. But
no, I'm not making you. You're going way back, because obviously you still have a candle for Mrs. DeLong.
Deb. One, we called her by her first name. I happen to have for whatever reason in English Lit, our class had like 12 people in it. Most of the classes had around 20, 22. For whatever reason, the schedule worked out where there were only like 12 of us in English Lit. And we convinced Deb that we always got our work done more quickly, because if there was class participation, there weren't as many of us. So in that class, there was me and 3 buddies who began playing paper football at the end of class on our desks.
Sure.
And so much so that we had the NPFL, the National Paper Football League, and we would keep track of standings, and we started putting it on the blackboard. And it really honked off the rest of the English Lit classes, because we got away, and she allowed it, and she made a huge mistake.
So Deb was okay with the NPFL?
She was fine with it. About the last 5-7 minutes of class, there was the four of us playing paper football on the desks.
Right. I have a feeling that you have just opened up a can and a window, because now I don't know if it's happening along the text line, but along the chat room now, all of a sudden the random teacher from back in the day is being mentioned. Ah, yes, I nominate my English teacher, Miss Cochran. Okay, and it's like, oh boy, here we go. I mean, like, might as well play the Van Halen video right now.
I've got Alex's beginning drum solo playing in my head as we speak, David.
Oh,
but
boy.
it does bring up another subject. What's about, because you had the game with like the 3 coins, right? You'd push the back coin through, and then you would, basically try to make a field goal with whichever one was the furthest back.
Right.
Paper football. I'm trying to think of the ways that we amused ourselves with stupid games, whether it was with class, not in class, because most people probably couldn't get away with that, or study hall, or, just on a rainy day at home, because, we obviously, that there was no PlayStation. There wasn't even Atari yet for a lot of us. So I was thinking about that. But the other thing I've been thinking about to make you uncomfortable this morning was Ryan Day, the Ohio State coach, answered a question in a podcast about what has been dubbed Nipplegate, because he had a picture. There was a game played in which his shirt was a little sweaty or whatever the case may be.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was the guys at PFT said, is he wearing a nipple ring? And so when they got him on, they asked him, and he's like, I'm not cool enough for that.
Yeah,
but
thank you.
But what I was going to ask you, David, if you were forced to get a piercing and the ear was out, nose, tongue, nipple, or, well, the other thing, where would you get a piercing? And I thought that would make an uncomfortable poll question for you today. That's been on my brain for about a week when I'm not thinking about interior defensive linemen or third-round running backs.
Why is the ear unavailable?
Because that's the easy one. Everybody's got an ear pierced.
What am I?
We have pierced my ear in the back of a car on the way to a party, for crying out loud.
And what am I, Jazz Chisholm? Do I have too many of them already? I have to go elsewhere?
Yes. I mean, if you were to put, where would you get a piercing? Your ear, your nipple, or your tongue? I mean, everybody's going to go ear. You got to throw that out. That's an easy one.
Okay. So, wow. This is, you do know we are like 10 minutes into the show. You're talking about piercings. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I am.
So someone nominated belly button.
It's another easy one. Another easy one. I even think my wife had her belly button pierced when I met her.
Huh.
Hopefully the daughter's not listening right now, because it could make an uncomfortable car ride to school.
Mommy, is that true?
And if she's not, it's going to make an uncomfortable phone call for me later today when she calls and says, who the hell were you with that had a pierced belly button?
I was going to say, because otherwise you're going to have to find somebody else to help you out next week. Because suddenly she's unavailable. We're going to have to be on the phone going, so how much does this Hope House go for? Okay, by the week. All right, can I rent this through May? Well, my housing situation right now is in flux. Oh, boy.
So there you have it. I mean, there are other directions we could go, but do you really want to talk about the NHL Pacific Division race in the playoffs?
There's a poll question. What's a sexier topic? Interior defensive lineman, the NHL's Pacific Division race. Okay, it's a legitimate question. Remember, all of you are going to vote NFL interior lineman. Do you know any? Or does it even matter? You can't bring up someone from the past. We're talking about this year's draft. You can't talk John Hanna and Gene Upshaw. Okay, Alan Faneca is not someone who can be discussed. Got it? Mike Webster, Jim Otto, off the board.
So a lot of random thoughts in my brain this morning. Wow. The Lightning with a big win last night. The NHL playoffs are set. The NBA play-in games get started tonight.
Woohoo!
Yeah, there you go. Here's another question. Interior defensive lineman or NBA play-in games, and the Heat and Magic are participants?
I like it. And I like it. That's a legit question right there. What's a sexier topic? Okay. NBA play-in games, NFL interior defensive linemen.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1
I think Mark froze up.
At first, I was wondering why I couldn't hear the spots, and then I looked and the time was frozen.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Well, it was only about 20 seconds. Before the stops, that was over.
Not sure what the hell happened there. I sent a text and it bopped me right off the network. Just got a text from my kid. Might have been the best experience with TSA ever. One guy just ripping old people apart to me in the bag line. Then, and I quote, an Asian employee with a cart comes through and yells, "Look out, Chinese driver."
Outstanding.
Have to be honest. Usually when I send text, it doesn't send me off the network. That's a little odd. I mean, for the most part, I've had to use my phone and not the computer because I use my phone to get online. But by the way, I bought a new piece of equipment yesterday, David.
Okay.
It's being delivered today, and our StreamYard subscription's coming this month too. So I'll get you the numbers so you know what I'm getting. Hope everybody enjoyed that little behind the scenes accounting. And that brought to you by the CPA group of. My wife is in sheer panic. Our accountant, she's not a procrastinator. I really don't think that she is. I think she works very hard, but she goes right till the 11th hour, and we get her the stuff very early. but she does mostly businesses, so we are very low on the list, I think, of priorities, because ours is probably a lot easier than most of the other things she is doing. So it makes her nervous.
First time in forever, we're getting a refund.
Good for you.
Although, I'll tell you, I sent them enough money in advance.
Little Guitars is an underrated song, Jets. I agree with you.
Yeah, Matthew, we hadn't had one this decade.
Did get a text last night from someone with the final score of the Lightning game that said new team looking good.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Our 8 a.m. Eastern hour will be our guest hour once again. Pat Kerwin, Surya Fernandez. Talk a little NFL. And yes, we will preview the Heat and the Hornets. Loser goes home as the NBA play-in action gets underway. All play-in games, all 6 of them this week, will be
Can't wait for
Amazon,
that.
will be on Amazon Prime.
So, David, it is a certain hour of the show
Yes.
that we are obligated by rule to talk a little baseball. And boy, oh boy, outside of your team last night, were there some runs scored in that sport. I mean, the Dodgers beat your Mets for spit. Other than that, I mean, I think there was 1-6-2 game, but I mean, you needed to get to 8 and in many cases 10 just to win the damn game. I mean, there were some runs scored yesterday.
I mean, a team scored 10 runs and lost yesterday. And Marlins got the double digits. Phillies got the double digits. Pirates double digits. Twins double digits. Angels double digits and lost because the Yankees were one better in double digits. Never mind the fact that Cleveland and Baltimore both got to 9. Texas got to 8.
Yeah, I mean, holy Toledo, were there some runs scored last night. And we just went, well, we did it. We're responsible for at least one game because we talked about, you know, just the Braves and how good they've been and how good the pitching's been.
Right.
And the Marlins go in there and just destroy them.
Right.
With a 10 spot.
Right.
So, but that was, you know, I started looking at scores last. I'm like, holy cow. And then the Yankees come back, walk it off with a wild pitch. Fairly bizarre night in baseball. But
two teams scored 7 runs and lost. Okay. I mean, team scored 10 runs and lost. Yeah. Last night was the I used to be in a 13-run pool in which you know, got your team and we, you know, kept throwing money in the pot every week until someone scored exactly 13 runs. Well, 2 teams did it last night.
I know it's too early to start worrying about your team. And I don't just mean your team, David, but because, Boston got off to a horrible start. They've won some games. They haven't necessarily righted the ship yet, but they're they look to me like they're fine. Detroit had a bad start. All of a sudden, they've won a few games in a row. They're fine. Your Mets record-wise, fine, but they're struggling to hit the baseball right now.
Well, and I think they're in last place. I mean, even their record is not fine anymore. No, actually, the problem for them is they had 4 bats in the lineup a year ago. Well, they traded one. They let the other walk in free agency. And then they only had 2 big bats left, and one of them's on the injured list. Oh, yeah, and the other big bat, he doesn't hit before May 1st because he doesn't hit until the weather gets warm. So they don't have anybody. I mean, Mark, I think they had one person in the lineup last night who was hitting above 240. Now, I know people don't hit for average anymore, but, they're a lineup that could struggle to score runs all year. And that's with Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor in the lineup, healthy and hitting. And they might struggle to score runs all year. So, no, this is a conscious decision by the general manager to blow up the clubhouse, change the chemistry of the team. He traded offense for defense and pitching. And, well, he's gotten his wish. Defense is better. Pitching is better. They can't score runs.
Right, and Pete Alonso had a home run last night, just for those keeping track.
Yes, and in fact, it was a 2-run homer that brought him from behind and put him in the lead in the late innings on the way to a win.
I figured I had to do something to brighten you up because I went piercings and interior defensive lineman last segment, so I thought I would come out of the gate with a little baseball in the baseball hour for you.
Well, I was happy because, well, Mike Trout and Aaron Judge had a home run contest last night. And I thought that was nice of them. They didn't tape it before the game like they used to back in the day. All right. They actually had a home run contest during the game, which I thought was very nice of them.
And one of them, Judge's first, was a bomb.
Yes.
Was an absolute bomb.
But
they measured it 460 something or whatever.
Oh, I know. And that's a long way, by the way.
It really is.
I mean, go out, stand at 155 yards, hit your club, and then realize that that's how far Judge hit the ball last night. But I enjoyed the second one more because Judge homered earlier in the game, as you mentioned, a bomb. And then he came up later, and the pitcher's kind of throwing at him. And he's missing, but he's up and in twice. And Judge is kind of looking at him like, dude, that's near my head.
Which that's up high, by the way. Judge is 6'7"? I mean, that's up high.
Right. Yes. Come on, pitchers don't normally miss that high. Right.
It's not Pedroia at the plate, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
If you know
not
what
Altuve, I mean. Not Pedroia. In fact, it's Altuve on Pedroia's shoulders. Okay. And Judge is looking out at him. He looks at the catcher. He looks out at him, and he's kind of looking at him like, okay, I get you had 2 shots. You missed me twice. All right, we're going to do the rest of the at-bat. And the guy's throwing inside the whole at-bat. And he tries to throw something away, and Judge just puts it in the left field pavilion. And they go to Mike Trout standing in left field, and Trout's grinning. Okay. Trout's like, yep, been there. Yep, I know what that's all about. Yep. And so, and Judge kind of rounds second, looks out the left field, kind of like, okay. So I really enjoyed it last night.
Well, and I mean, the Yankees had lost 5 in a row, so I thought it was an important win for them. Just
totally.
When you're in they were down in that game. They had an opportunity to lose 6 straight, and they, with their best player, win the game. I just think there are some important things sometimes that happen.
Yes.
And I thought last night was one of them. So a run scoring night for those of you fantasy baseball people, you're happy because the odds are your guy did well last night.
And of course, Skeens is looking at his Pirates teammates going, I don't need 16 runs in a day. I need 16 runs in a month. A month. Could you spread this out over a month?
David is talking about your first place Pittsburgh Pirates.
Thank you very much.
Alone in first
Yes.
place.
Yep. Will they
But-
start going to games before the draft? The draft's a week from Thursday in Pittsburgh. Or are they waiting till after the draft to start attending Pirates games?
I think they're waiting till after the draft because my mother-in-law came down for spring break to spend some time with her daughter and granddaughter. And, she's not a sports fan. She's a Pittsburgh sports team fan and
Right.
really Steelers first and then everything else is whatever. She was talking about the draft because that's all. And I know, she's 81. So what does she watch? The 6:00 local news every damn night.
Right.
What are they talking about on the local news every damn night? The NFL draft. It's a thing, David. I mean, it is the thing in Pittsburgh right now.
Hey, listen, Pittsburgh's got it going on. He's going to have a Penguins Flyers playoff series. They hate each other. And the Pirates are in first place. I mean, they got a little something going on here. But back to the draft and our interior defensive linemen. Yep. What's the sexier topic? Mustaches or interior defensive linemen? You decide. English literature or interior defensive lineman? What's sexier?
This time of year, David, I hate to say it, it's interior defensive lineman. I mean, I don't know what, you want to build from inside on a football team, and that's where it starts.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
PA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what you mean there, Nanny, but it's 1-888-9-PELICAN if you're looking for a roofing estimate. And B-Man, appreciate you watching on your way to work. Appreciate everybody watching and listening and taking us in. You don't. Okay, so wait a minute, Nanny. You don't live in the U.S. On our phones, maybe you don't have it. Every number is associated with 3 letters. Like even on our cell phones, they still have that. One and 0 are not associated with letters, but every other one. And 9 has 4 letters. 9 and 7 each have 4 letters. Well, you can say one word. I mean, if you think of it, Nanny, when you do an ad, and I've forgotten, but in a 30-second ad, you can only have so many words. A phone number with 888 and then 7 numbers is 10 words, where 1888 Pelican is 4 words. It cuts down on time. It's as simple as that. And I am curious also, Nanny, where are you taking in this show from? Well, we do this on terrestrial radio as well, Nanny. So that's why. American sports, Nanny, and welcome from Israel. You are literally the first person that I know of that's ever taken in our show from Israel.
Top of the morning to you, Nanny.
Well, and by top of the morning, he means happy afternoon.
I was going to say, how's lunch?
Because it's about 1 or 2 o'clock, right?
Right.
1:30, 2:30. I'm not exactly sure.
What do you mean? Do we check the YouTube chat? Aren't we checking it? Right
Yeah, I
now?
said hello, B man. I don't know what I mean. What do you need? I mean, what's we check it all, B man.
Yeah.
We've got them all right in front of us, Twitch and YouTube. But sometimes we are answering whomever speaks, and you can only see your particular chat room, B man.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Talk a little NFL in our 8 a.m. Eastern hour with Pat Kerwin. Talk some Heat Hornets with Surya Fernandez a couple hours from now as well. We are trying to come up with suitable comparisons. Mark was talking interior defensive linemen in the opening minutes of the show. I said, wow, what a sexy start. So we're trying to come up with suitable comparisons on the sexiness scale to interior draft defensive lineman prospects. I came up with English literature, which of course then got Mark and others thinking about their apparently hot English lit teacher from back in the day.
Deb DeLong.
So, you know, Faulkner's never looked so good. He still sounds like a run-on sentence continuously. But there's that. And then there's interior defensive lineman draft prospects. All right. We'll have plenty of poll questions. Also, Mark wants to know if ears are not an option, where would you get your piercing?
And this all stems from Ryan Day being accused of having his nipple pierced and then answering the question and simply saying, I'm not cool enough for that.
Right.
Because look, come on, Ryan Day is boring. Everything about, he gets picked on a lot. And I think rightly so. So the fact that he actually was able to come up quickly with an answer and make fun of himself, like to me, Rory lost me a little bit. When Rory, after his first round, was talking to Van Pelt and said, asked about the green jacket. And when, as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to go put it on right now and go upstairs and have a drink. I'm like, yes, you are, Rory. Good for you. That you made me like you a little more with that answer.
I actually think Ryan Day's loosened up a little bit since he won, the Natty. I think Ryan Day in the last 16 months has been a little different. Don't get me wrong. He's not the guy that when he shows up at the party, everybody goes, oh, now the party started. I just think that there's a chance he might contribute a cool comment or two to the conversation. Not much more than that. He's still there basically just to laugh. But I think there's a chance now that he's won the Natty, there's a chance for a cool comment.
So what you're saying is like if he were in, and I'm going with a really old reference, but he's in like the Playboy Lounge with all the, because you've seen the TV shows with all the cool people were there, or the mansion. There was a time that men and women both, if they were cool, that's where they were at.
Correct.
That now that he's able to get in, like before, if he got in and walked up to the table, with Nicholson and whomever, they just got up and left. Now they let him stand there.
I don't even think he was allowed to approach the table up until 16 months ago. All right. Now there's a chance that somebody at the cool table goes, hey, that's Ryan Day. Now the rest of the table goes, who's that? But I think there's a chance.
Fair enough. NBA play-in games, interior linemen. What's more sexy? What are you more interested in? Yes, I have it up as a poll question.
Unbelievable. It is time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
What's sexier? Interior defensive lineman draft prospects or Lee County's motto of building a better community through BST, business, sports, and tourism? We'll start with the NBA. The play-in tourney gets underway tonight. The 7:30 game on Amazon. Heat at Hornets. Charlotte, a 5.5-point favorite. This is a 9-10 matchup. Losers out. Season over. Winner is going to go on the road and face the loser of tomorrow night's Orlando-Philadelphia game. So there. The 10 o'clock game tonight, Portland at Phoenix. That's a 7-8 matchup. Portland's the 8 seed. They won 42. Phoenix, the 7 seed. They won 45. Phoenix is a 3.5-point favorite. The winner of this game enters the Western Conference playoffs as the 7 seed. So the winner of this game gets the Spurs and gets to go home in no more than 5. There you go. The loser of this game hosts the winner of tomorrow night's Clippers and Warriors game. Are you ready for the quiz? Okay. That's how it works. Baseball. 10 games last night. Marlins, after getting swept, went to Atlanta, scored 3 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, beat the Braves 10-4. Dodgers handed the Mets their 6th straight loss, 4-0. Schwarber with 2 homers. Phillies over the Cubs 13-7. Skeens with 6 one-hit shutout innings. And the Pirates put a 10 spot on the board in the 6th. Pittsburgh 16-5 over Washington. Cleveland beat the Cardinals 9-3. Twins hit 4 homers. The Red Sox sent their ace to the hill last night in Minneapolis. And Garrett Crochet got 5 outs and gave up 10 runs. Ouch. 13-6 Twins over the Red Sox. Minnesota's won 7 of 8. They had a year a few years ago. Didn't they win like 11, 13 in a row and still finished like below 500? I mean, because nobody thinks the Twins are any good, including Twins fans. But they won 7 of 8 because, well, that's baseball. Nathan Eovaldi, 7 shutout innings. Texas snapped the A's 5-game winning streak, beat them 8-1. Mike Trout hit 2 homers. Angels scored 10 runs. Aaron Judge hit 2 homers. Yankees with 3 in the 9th scored 11 runs. Yankees beat the Angels 11-10, snapped the 5-game losing streak. Orioles were down 7-1. They rallied, including Pete Alonso's go-ahead 2-run homer in the 7th. Baltimore beat Arizona 9-7. Josh Naylor with a couple of homers. Astros have lost 8 in a row. Hello. Seattle, 6-2 over Houston. To the NHL. Mark's new team, the Tampa Bay Lightning, went to overtime and beat Mark's old team, the Detroit Red Wings, 4-3.
Guess who had the game winner?
That would be Nikita Kucherov, his 44th of the year, in overtime. The win moves the Lightning back into second place. They're in a tie with Montreal, but they own the tiebreaker. Those two teams will be playing one another in the first round of the playoffs because the Buffalo Sabres clinched the division last night. Buffalo beat Chicago 5-1. How much money would you have made if at the beginning of this season you put a few shekels on the Sabres to win the division? They hadn't made the playoffs in 15 years. I'm guessing a few shekels.
No doubt, David. No doubt.
Panthers beat the Rangers 3-2. Cole Reinhardt with 2 goals, including the game winner with less than 2 minutes to go. What was noteworthy in this game was that 40-year-old Jonathan Quick was in goal for the Rangers for the final time. The greatest United States goalie of all time, Jonathan Quick, is retiring. The Panthers, in a very classy act, went into the Rangers locker room, sent a message and said, hey, tell Quixie to come out here. And Jonathan Quick, still in uniform, came out, and the entire Florida Panthers team, including injured players, lined up like a Stanley Cup playoff series and shook his hand and congratulated him because they know his place in history. 3-time Stanley Cup winner, Jonathan Quick, is retiring. Panthers beat the Rangers 3-2. But the big story in the NHL last night, the Philadelphia Flyers, the best team in the league since coming back from the Olympics. They were down, they were out, they were an afterthought. The Flyers, in a shootout, rally to beat Carolina 3-2, and they clinch a playoff spot. They're going to play the Penguins in the first round of the playoffs. Penguins, who haven't won a playoff series since winning the Cup 9 years ago. Flyers haven't been in the playoffs in a few years. These two franchises hate one another. Sign me up. LA Kings clinch a playoff spot. The Kings could be anywhere from the second wild card to second place in their division. All right, but they beat Seattle 5-3. They've still got a couple games left. And they clinch a playoff spot because San Jose beat Nashville 3-2. Both Sharks and Preds eliminated. Yeah, Celebrini with 2 goals. He's got 44 on the season. Is he 20? 19? How old
19.
is he? He's 19.
He's 19.
44 goals. He's 19.
And they've got a couple of other young players that are expected to make the club next year. I mean, I hope that it's the wrong franchise to be good because no one cares. It really, I mean, you talk about franchises that could disappear and no one would notice. The San Jose Sharks have to be at the top of the list. But, man, he's fun to watch, and they look like they're going to be pretty good quickly.
Las Vegas with a 6-2 win over Winnipeg. They're in first place in the division. They have 1 game left. If they get 1 point in that game, they will win the division. And Vegas is 6-0-1 since firing Cassidy and hiring John Tortorella. 6-0-1 with Torts. Colorado beat Edmonton 2-1 in a shootout, but Connor McDavid did score his 48th. Kucherov, by the way, his game-winning goal was number 44.
Well,
Dallas-
and McDavid didn't score, who has 48. I mean, the three of them, this is as tight of a race for the MVP as we've seen in a long time, because you could make a case for every one of the top three players. You legitimately could. You want Kucherov, I don't think you're wrong. But the way McDavid's played without Draisaitl and McKinnon for the first 80% of the season, I mean, it's really close.
Dallas 6-5 over Toronto. The big story in this game, the voice of the Leafs for the last 44 years, Joe Bowen, called his final game at home. Imagine having the job for 44 years and your team not only didn't win a championship, your team didn't even play for a championship.
Maybe it was his fault.
And St. Louis doubled up Minnesota 6-3. WNBA draft, Dallas for the second year in a row got the number one pick. Last year, they picked Paige Beckers. She went to UConn. This year, they picked Ozzie Fode. She went to UConn. By the way, they're dating. Okay? They're now teammates in Dallas, who will be really good real soon. And how good was the UCLA women's team that won the Natty? Yeah, all 5 starters drafted in the first round, 6 drafted overall. Guess they were pretty good. NFL, former Arizona Cardinals head coach Dave McGinnis died at the age of 74. And a story we didn't mention yesterday, it's my fault. All right. Colts cornerback Kenny Moore and the team have agreed to a divorce. He'll be 31 in August. He's still a good player. Problem is they've invested big money in Sauce Gardner and Charvarius Ward, so they're spending $10 million a year on Kenny Moore, and they don't want to anymore. Thing is, I don't know who's going to trade for him at that price tag. They may after June 1st, but so anyway, a divorce happening in Indy between Kenny Moore and the Colts. And as we approach 8 minutes before the hour mark, that was the starting 5 big stories you needed to know, courtesy of Lee County, Florida, one of the 5 fastest growing counties in Florida. Lee County, building a better community through BST, business, sports, and tourism.
For one more day, then you could have your company on the starting 5. They had a 6-month deal. It runs out tomorrow. We thank them for joining us. Hope they do it next year as well. But it runs out, so there are sponsor opportunities available aplenty on Miller and Moulton at the moment. David, by the way, you didn't ask the question, but I'll answer it for you. WNBA draft or interior defensive lineman, can I start talking about Dominic Orange from Iowa State?
I would like you to put a third choice up there, okay? As to, because we all know WNBA draft or interior, I mean, we could limit it to interior defensive linemen drafted on Saturday, okay? And I know it would still win, but who's the Iowa State guy again? Take that long
for a Florida State guy to get drafted.
Who's that guy? Iowa State?
Dominic Orange.
Dominic Orange. Okay. What day?
Late day 2. At some point, day 2. I mean, he's the second, third round guy.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
Mark and Pat Kerwin are going to talk about interior defensive linemen and where they're going to go in the draft coming up in a little more than an hour. As for the rest of us, I don't know. We'll talk some sports.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities, They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at
The
AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Ambient. Okay. And I don't I don't like the NBA anymore, but I don't hate it. But there are 2 first-round matchups to me where the team that is seeded lower, worse, whatever you want to call it, has a shot. Now, I think Houston will demolish the Lakers because there's no Luka. So that's a 5-4. I do think David's Knicks are in an interesting series. I think that could be the most interesting first-round series of all of them. But like for the play-in games, you tell me, Ambient, you're our NBA expert, even though you're not, you only care about your team. But you've got Detroit and Boston on one side. You've got Oklahoma City and San Antonio on the other. How many combined games will the 7-8 seats win in the first round? That's 16 wins for whoever wins the series, which will be the 4 teams that I mentioned. Yeah, it could be, but the T-Wolves aren't as good as they were when they went 7, and I would argue the Nuggets are better. But okay. But again, the question is, of the top 2 seeds in each side, we've got play-in games. That's what the poll question's about, and that's why you answered or made the comment that you did. Because people are voting for interior defensive linemen over the NBA play-in games. For the record, our show is mainly on for people in Florida. Both Florida teams are in those play-in games. Oh, I'll go way under, DC. You could put it at 3.5, and I might go under.
Oh, yeah, DC. I think that's high. I was going to say 4.5 over under.
Because Oklahoma City won't lose a game against either of those teams. I don't think San Antonio will. I don't think Boston will. Detroit could. So total, how many, Ambient, out of the 16 wins that are going to happen for Boston, Detroit, San Antonio, and Oklahoma City? How many wins will there be? So would you go over 5.5, DC? Because I'll take that bet. Name the bet. He is a top-tier coach. It's a bad team. I mean, I don't know. How do you win with that team?
Boy, Love to know who the play-in winners are. Because I actually think there's a couple of salty, or at least there would have been.
What happens more? Wins by the play-in teams or games played by Embiid if Philly wins?
Oh, wow.
I mean, we could go NBA. It's just snarky. And by the way, Nana, whatever, I don't know if you were doing the starting five and you went Shekels. Did you see his comment? He's in Israel and he made fun of the US dollar after you said Shekels. Kind of reminds me of the dollar exchange rate right now. For never joining this show before, you fit in really well, my friend. You really did. That was a really fantastic comment. It was. That can't go unannounced.
No, you're at the level of snark that we prefer. Okay,
well done.
Way to go. Yes.
Don't know if you're still here. I know people pop in and out, but damn it, that was good.
Man, I will say the Clippers, the Sixers.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Tuesday. NBA play-in tournament gets underway tonight. What do we have? Just 2 nights left, the NHL regular season? Ends tomorrow or
they go till Thursday.
Oh, a couple games Thursday.
I mean, quite a few. I mean, Wednesday and Thursday are the final games of the season for everybody. It's the reason that the 7-8 play-in game tonight is not going on in Philadelphia. The Flyers are at home. So that's why that game's being played tomorrow night as far as the play-in. Can I just say, I'm going to go play-in. I can't believe I'm doing this. You can stop me and go to another direction at any point that you want.
No, I like this. If you're going with what you were talking about in the chat room during the break, I actually like this topic.
Well, I'm not. I have something different that I want to say. But you can go to that. I apologize. But this is interesting to me because both Florida teams are in the play-in game. I think one desperately wants to win. I think the other one, at least their fan base, would prefer they lose.
Yes.
I mean, if you're a Heat fan, do you really want to win this and then get beat up by Detroit in the first round? And sure, could you win a game? Yeah, you get to extend your season for another couple of weeks and watch games. And if you're and the Heat are, I think they're the most popular team in Miami. In fact, I don't think it's close right now. I mean, the Dolphins are next. It's those two, and then the baseball team and the hockey team. We saw what the crowds were like for hockey. Once they're not a good team, no one cares anymore. And that's very Miami. Not even, we all know that going in. But Orlando, I mean, I don't know what they think will happen in the postseason, but the expectations were so damn high for this team that their fan base desperately wants a 7-game series with someone, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, quite frankly, a couple of the guys need to perform really well if they're going to stay in Orlando. And I think the only way the coach comes back is if they win a playoff series, and not a play-in game, but a playoff series. And even then, I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks, the rumor was, Mark, before he got the North Carolina job, that Michael Malone was who they were thinking about hiring to be the Magic coach next year.
And then Malone decided the budget was higher at North Carolina, so he took that job.
Right. Right. There's more cap room at North Carolina, and I'm going to make more money with more security. So I'll take the North Carolina job. Season's shorter also. So I wonder if Orlando's where Thibodeau's going to end up, but that's for another day.
By the way, what about Billy Donovan? Because, Chicago wants him back, but Billy doesn't necessarily want to come back. So
that would be interesting.
Just throwing it out. Just throwing it out there.
was it 3 days? How long was he the coach for of the Magic back in the day?
Would they take him back? That's another point. I mean, would the Magic fan even want him? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, probably bitter. The diehard Magic fan probably hates him with a passion for taking the job for a half an hour and going back to the Gators. All right. Couple of play-in questions for you. Out of these play-in teams, out of the 8 play-in teams, you can pick whomever you want to get out of this round. If I put the over-under at 4.5 of games they win in the first round, so somebody everybody wins 1, somebody wins 2 games, 4.5 for the over-under. Where would you go? They're getting Oklahoma City, sweep. San Antonio, sweep. Detroit, Boston, sweep. So how do you think 4.5 the over-under? I would go under for sure. Where would you go? And I don't care who the damn teams are.
I do care who the damn teams are because I think a couple of them are intriguing in terms of this wager. I don't expect anybody who's in the play-in to actually upset one of those 4 teams in a best of 7. I don't want to hear it about the Pistons and their lack of experience. Cade Cunningham's back. Okay, they ain't losing to Orlando, Philadelphia, Charlotte, or Miami. Now, do I think a couple of those teams could give them a series? Yeah, I do. I do. I mean, if you could somehow tell me that Embiid, George, and Maxey are all going to be able to play in the first round series, you got to admit that ain't your normal play-in team. If their big 3 is healthy. I mean, when Paul George is the 3rd best player of your big 3, okay, they're pretty good. And what is Detroit going to do with a healthy Embiid?
David, you make a great point. I have a snarky question to follow up with.
Well, there's a bunch of them, but yes.
Number of games Embiid plays in the first round should they win their play-in game.
I know.
Versus number of wins for play-in teams in the first round. What would you bet on?
I would bet on more wins by the play-in teams because unfortunately he had appendicitis last week?
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Golden State, like the Phoenix, and they're the best team of the play-in teams. I know we don't talk West a lot, and there's a reason for that because we're not out there. But the Clippers have a legitimate star. Steps back for Golden State. Which Western Conference team has the best shot to win? Because they're playing what we all think. Maybe you might want to throw the Celtics in there because Detroit's got to do something before I can trust them. But when I look at the playoffs, I look at OKC and San Antonio and go, those are the best 2 teams. Could the Nuggets give one of them a game? Yeah, they could. Or a series? Yeah, they absolutely could. They've got some playoff pedigree and they have the MVP. So, but in the first round, who gives, I guess, and Golden State can't be. They have no shot at being the 7. So,
right. And neither
would you
do
say
the Clippers.
Would Golden State or the Clippers have a better shot at giving OKC a game?
Well, Golden State has no shot. I mean, they have no size. Their best players are too old. No. The Clippers are an interesting team. OKC, of the teams, I'll bet you the team they don't want to face is the Clippers.
I agree with that.
So over under, is it 3.5 or 4.5?
4.5.
Oh boy. I would probably go under just because of the health of the Sixers. See, if the Sixers were healthy, I know they'd make the play-in, and I think they'd be capable of taking 2 games off of either Boston or Detroit, whether they were the 7 or the 8. So, and I would count on Orlando taking at least a game off somebody. So I'm thinking I'm getting 3 wins out of the East, but that's if I can get Philadelphia with some semblance of health into the playoffs. then I don't need much out of the West. Then I'm counting on Kawhi to win at least a game. Now I'm at 4. But
But I don't think you're going to get that out of Philly. I
No.
think it's impossible to get out of Philly.
No.
I will say Charlotte's the team, just the way they've played the second half.
Yeah.
They're young. They don't know that they're not supposed to win. Could Charlotte win a game or two? Perhaps.
Yeah, I will say the funny thing is that if it's Detroit and Charlotte, Detroit is looking at themselves from the year before. Charlotte would be last year's Pistons. Happy to be in. Okay, be competitive. Remember, Detroit took 2 from the Knicks and were in position to win all 6 games. They just didn't know how.
Hawks, Knicks, Cleveland, Toronto. Which team, the Hawks or Toronto, has a better shot of pulling off the upset?
Oh, well, that's laughable. It's the Hawks. It's the Hawks. Yeah. The Knicks got a brutal draw. Okay. A brutal draw. The Atlanta, okay, please. They own Toronto. They haven't lost to Toronto in 4 years. Okay. I don't know if the Raptors would have won a playoff game against them. Okay. The Hawks, the Hawks and the Knicks have a thing. Now, do I think the Knicks will win? Yes. But do I think they'll have to go at least 6? At least. And then the Knicks get Boston, and Boston's got home court. And Boston will be waiting for them. And then
And
in
then
order
on
to
the other side, do you give the T-Wolves a shot against the Nuggets?
Oh, sure. Yeah. With
I know
Anthony
they went
Edwards?
7 a couple of years ago, but it's not the same T-Wolves team, and the Nuggets are a little deeper. So I think 2 games is possible. I don't see it going 7 again.
Yeah, the T-Wolves are interesting. What T-Wolves are we getting? We get good T-Wolves, that series goes the distance. We get bad, moody T-Wolves, be lucky to go 5.
So there it is. That's our NBA first round playoff preview. We'll talk about this league again when we get to the second round and it becomes interesting.
Now, we might.
Anything else that you need to hear, you'll get during the starting 5, which after tomorrow is sponsorless. So if you want and love your NBA, let us know. 21,000, the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line.
Now, coming up next hour, we will have a segment from someone who covers the Heat for a living. And tomorrow, we're going to have the radio voice of the Orlando Magic on, okay, as they get ready to face Philly in their play-in game. So there will be a touch more association, a touch more. But back to interior defensive line draft prospects as soon as we can, Mark. I understand.
I appreciate it. Day 2 running backs, late first round interior defensive lineman.
By the way, do you know the nickname of your guy, Dominique Orange, out of Iowa State?
I do not. And
Okay.
I wasn't aware that he had a nickname. I mean, when you have a name that terrific, do you really need a nickname? But go ahead.
Big Citrus.
Oh, my goodness. How do you not draft him?
6'2", 322. Okay. Somewhere between the 6th and the 8th best defensive tackle prospect in the draft. 3rd or 4th round pick is where he's pegged. Big Citrus.
Boy, Miami with those 4 third-round picks, they could use the Big Citrus. I mean, that makes perfect sense. Too bad they're not still playing in the Orange Bowl.
I'm with you, though. Come on. Don't we have to take Big Citrus? Who? Just put the card in.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit edisonawards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
It's funny, once you said that, I remembered him. I watched at least one Iowa State game and then remembered that nickname. That's a terrific nickname.
Isn't it?
It's a terrific nickname.
I got the next segment.
Okay, good. As long as it's not about the WNBA draft.
It's not.
I'm in. I mean, if I can't give you interior defensive lineman nipple rings in baseball in the first hour, I'm no good to you.
You should see what I've typed to Trent. Okay, as to what each segment is about. Okay, first segment: interior D linemen and sexy English literature teachers.
Oh, Deadstroke, don't do that. I'm in a pretty good mood today. I got a doctor's appointment, and I'm going to give them a lot of questions. Like, when the F am I getting out of here? Man, bad week for coaches / managers. Bednar done for a week after taking a puck to the face, and the Orioles manager took a line drive last night. And I never will, Ambient. I've been doing this for 20 years with David. He has pushed stupid spring football leagues on me for 15 of them. He's even given up. If David's not talking about spring football, it has no chance, Ambient. It really doesn't. We don't do minor league sports on this show, Ambient, and that's all it is. That's all it will ever be. I don't think it's hot, Left Twix, because he's making them relevant, even though they're no good. They're generating more money now. I'm sure that money's gone down, but they're still generating more money than they've ever generated for that program. So in that regard, I don't think his seat's hot. I think he coaches until he doesn't want to coach there.
Who?
Prime at Colorado. He asked how hot is Prime's seat. I don't think it's even lukewarm.
No.
Because from a business standpoint, it's still working, Left Wicks.
Yes.
From a football standpoint, it was just purely football, it would be hot. But it's about so much more than that there. I mean, the fact that you just brought it up in April kind of proves the point almost, if you know what I mean.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Pat Kerwin will join us at the top of the hour. The first two NBA play-in games are tonight. All NBA play-in games, if you're interested, are on Amazon Prime. All 6 of them. 2 tonight, 2 tomorrow, and then the 2 winner-go-home games on Friday. So all 6 on Amazon Prime. 7:30 and 10 o'clock tonight. The Heat in the early game. We'll preview it next hour. So I'm taking a big risk right now. Big risk. Ladies and gentlemen, when you do a talk show, if you ever do one, there are certain rules that you learn. One of them is if you have good flow, just keep on keeping on. Don't change the topic. Just go with it. All right? If it's entertaining and people seem to be having fun with you and your co-host is fired up about it, you just keep on keeping on. I think to break, because I think I know the reaction to what I'm about to bring up, but I am about to do something that you should not do when you get your own show, which is change the subject potentially to a subject that your co-host is going to freak out about.
I want to let everybody know that I am convinced that that entire 2-minute disclaimer was totally for me.
Yes.
I don't really think it was for the audience. He is preparing me and trying to limit the disgust that I might have when he brings up the following.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class of 2026 was announced yesterday.
Yes, it was.
Now,
yes,
there were
it was.
16 finalists. The 8 who did not make it. This would make my co-host happy. Mariah Carey. But
Amen, brother.
Lauryn Hill, In Excess, Melissa Etheridge, Jeff Buckley, Pink, New Edition, Shakira. They all did not make the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Of those 8, Mark, any of them that you were voting for?
Yeah, In Excess. In Excess should be in. That one bums me out. I think that they're a highly underrated band. I mean, they produced a ton of hits. They were a monster band in the 80s. They really were.
I agree with you. Here is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class of 2026. Phil Collins.
Yeah, he was going in. I mean, his solo stuff's not my cup of tea, but massive hits. There was never a doubt in my mind.
Billy Idol.
I would have voted for him.
I would not have. I would have done In Excess over Billy Idol. Iron Maiden.
Thank you. I
Thank
mean,
you. Yes.
come on. I'm looking at album covers of Eddie right now. I'm singing Run to the Hills in my head. I'm extremely happy for Iron Maiden. It is long overdue.
Long overdue. Joy Division / New Order.
Big in their genre, very much deserving. When we did this initially, they were someone I would have put in.
Yes.
The style of music that they did, they're the Hall of Famer that you don't know enough about, and because of this, you might go listen and go, "Oh, okay."
Right. They got 2,000 of their 4,000 hits in Japan. Okay, how about that?
Fair enough. I'll
Okay.
take that. Yes.
Oasis.
Yeah, they were going in. Whatever.
Sade.
That's where In Excess should have gone in. Now, I love Sade. I do. I mean, there is a time in life that if you came home with the young lady and you threw Smooth Operator on, you were probably getting some. So there is it's not Barry White, but come on, it served a purpose in this world. So there is a spectacular voice, a beautiful voice. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Are you absolutely blanking kidding me?
Well, once again, it's the Music Hall of Fame. That's not country, but I know. That's the first one, by the way. It took to the 6th one for you to start banging the table angrily. And you even said, okay, she helped you get a little something back in the day. So you're not that angry.
No, I mean, but like R&B Hall of Fames, so she's just not a rock and roll. And I understand that it's pop, but there was very few pop songs by her. I don't think her resume, even if we're going to just do music, David, I don't think her resume is Hall of Fame worthy.
Well,
amazing voice.
Well,
amazing voice.
But I don't know how you put her. And listen, I don't know how you put her in over Mariah Carey. I don't know how you put her in over Lauryn Hill. I don't know how you put her in over Melissa Etheridge. But
New Edition. I mean, out of the ones you said on there, like if we're just doing music, I don't love her. With you. But okay.
Number 7, Luther Vandross.
Which, again, not rock, but I mean, we're talking about Luther Vandross here. I'm not allowed by law to say anything bad about him.
By the way, along with Barry White on the Mount Rushmore of
sexy voices for a man, like that voice for a man. It's like, whoa,
oh yeah,
yeah. Women like that voice.
Oh,
yes, they do.
Women love.
You're damn right.
Yes,
you're damn right.
Do. And finally, Wu-Tang Clan.
Absolutely.
Now, I got to admit, of recent Hall of Fame classes, all right, you are much happier with this Hall of Fame class than you've been probably for the last half decade. With who the finalists were, and you knew they were going to take 8 of the 16. I mean, I think
I would have put In Excess in over Sade, and I would have been fine.
Right. I probably would have made 1 or 2 other changes, but we're both just so damn happy that Iron Maiden got in.
Wu-Tang Clan's awesome. They are. There's a period of rap music, hip hop music that I didn't listen to when it was like I listened to 80s hip hop. When the 90s came, and there are so many good 90s hip hop artists that I was so into the grunge world, and I worked in pro hockey, and that music just didn't make it to the locker room.
Right.
And I discovered maybe a little later in life, as a couple people have said in the chat room, Wu-Tang's for the children. I don't know what else to tell you.
Well, there's going to be a big ceremony in LA on November 14th. So they're going to have to wait 7 months. What the heck?
It's in LA? They've had this at the Garden like a million times. It's in LA?
They're having it in LA on November 14th. Shouldn't they have it at like the Sphere? If you're not going to have it at the Garden, shouldn't you have it at like the Sphere, someplace that musically everybody raves about? Think about what you could do if you hosted it there. Just a thought. But why do I have to wait 7 months?
Don't know.
It's a long time. Remember, this is rock and roll. I mean, there's always a chance. 7 months. It's not sure everybody makes it. I mean, come on. But there it is. The rock and roll class of 2026. You decide who you like, who you don't like, who should have been in, what have you. That went a lot better than I thought it was going to go.
By the way, weren't the Black Crowes on the list? Because I thought they were one that you could vote on. I know when it was on the vote on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame site, the Black Crowes were on it, so they didn't even make the 16. So interesting, because I thought the Crowes were on it. I thought that they, in fact, I could have sworn we talked about them with Orlando Alzagari when we had a little bit of a Rock Hall of Fame thing.
No, you're right. Okay, the Black Crowes were. Yeah, they're the one I missed then. I'm sorry. So there were 9 that were out, 8 that were in.
But yeah, Sade out, In Excess in. Other than that, I can deal with this.
Okay. Iron Maiden.
The fact that they didn't put Mariah Carey in makes me very happy today.
I knew that there was a chance to get through the segment just because of that. Pat Kerwin in 30 minutes.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Axe, great point. Thank you for both comments. And more importantly, if they were to do any of Wu-Tang's music with ODB dead, is there anybody that can do ODB, if you know what I mean? I mean, that's a tough one. But you are right. I don't like Phil Collins, period, Leftwix. I don't. He annoys me. And I know he's sick now, and I know I'm not supposed to say things like that, but I'm not a Phil Collins guy. All I can think of when I think of Phil Collins was about the week to 10 days that Letterman in his monologue or early in the show would go, Sue it. Sue Studio? She hated it, Robes. She made fun of it, and I shaved it for her when she came back for the second time. I know it's not noticeable, but the hair, I believe, is starting to grow. Getting excited. Should be about 3 months, 4 months, and I'm going to have Bednar flow going. They sold out, DC. You're right. I mean, they just sold out because Jan Warner's a putz. So I think it's like 2 years I can find out who my donor was. I can write a letter to my donor now, but it's got to be kind of an anonymous letter, but I can write a thank you letter, if you will. And I'm actually asking about that today. But in 2 years, they can connect us if that person wants to be connected. I have so many questions because now this could just be a chemo thing. And Paula, maybe you could help if you're still in there. Exactly, Evie. That's the thing. I'm going to have flow. There's a chance I have gray curly hair when it comes back, and I'm going to be the happiest guy in the world if my hair's curly. Trust me, I'll never cut it. I'll probably have it in a ponytail and be that guy. But I want to know where this person's from because the only part of my facial hair that's really growing back is the mustache, and it appears to me to be darker. So I am. That would be impossible for it to be my ex-wife because she actually had a bone marrow transplant herself. And you have to be under the age of 40 to do a bone marrow stem cell transplant to give the cells. So that would be impossible. But funny nonetheless, Leftwix. There is a really cute young lady that works here. She's wonderful, very nice. Emma, I think her name is. And yesterday, 2 days ago, I was down there with my son, and we were talking to her. And I mentioned that I have a daughter that's 11, and she goes, "You have an 11-year-old?" And then she goes, "How old are you?" And she goes, "I know I'm not supposed to." I said, I'm 56. I said, "We have the blah blah blah." And she goes, "Oh, okay." She goes, "I'm just used to all the people here being old."
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Pat Kerwin will join us at that time. Surya Fernandez covers the Miami Heat in the NBA. Will join us 1 hour from now. Heat in a winner-go-home game tonight. And there's no Jimmy Butler walking through that door. I mean, the Heat have done some damage in the play-in before, but they had Jimmy Butler on their side. There's no Jimmy Butler walking through that door.
They need to lose.
Yes.
Like, I'm not kidding. Because trust me, if there were a league to fix a draft, it might be the NBA. They've never done it before. And the league likes when the Heat's good.
Yeah, it makes things better.
They move the needle. They've been good for a long time.
Yep.
Even when they were, kind of on the con you look back at that series years ago against the Knicks. I think they're a team that the league likes and wants to be good. Yep. And when they are, it's a scene. I mean, the Miami Heat games are a scene. They are.
Yeah.
But they need to lose.
Yeah. Heat fans are tired of mediocrity. Many of them would have preferred the lottery pick instead. But they're in Charlotte tonight. They're 5.5-point dogs, 7:30 on Amazon. Hey, one other bit of TV broadcasting sports news, if you will. So, we're coming up on the Triple Crown next month. We got the Derby in what, less than 3 weeks?
Yeah, we do. Boy, you're on to something.
I think it's what, May 2nd?
Yes.
The Derby. And that's 2 weeks from Saturday. So, and then 2 weeks later is the Preakness. The Preakness's television deal is up. So in, a little more than 30 days, and NBC has the Preakness. They've got the Derby and the Preakness. Fox grabbed the Belmont a couple years ago. Well, Fox wants the Preakness. Now, they're not the only ones that want the Preakness, but Fox has been pretty open in they want the Preakness. By the way, so does Amazon and Netflix. I mean, if once again, you got to pay attention sometimes. Netflix is interested in the Preakness? I mean, isn't that a big tell? I mean, Amazon's got the NFL every Thursday night. Amazon's one of the 3 broadcast partners of the NBA. Netflix wants the Preakness? Wow. That to me is a tell. But anyway.
What's interesting to me about that, David, is that who is the Netflix audience? I mean, they've done something, they've done like the Jake Paul fight, and they've done some of that stuff where I don't necessarily think of Netflix as super young, but I don't think of it as old. And who watches the Derby? A much older audience.
Right.
So that fascinates me just in and of itself.
Now, I don't know what Amazon and or Netflix have in mind if they get the rights to the Preakness. But Mark, apparently, what Fox has indicated, you give us the Preakness, we're going to move it back a week.
Huh?
Yeah. You give us the Preakness, we're going to move it back a week. And
because
then
they want to get as many Derby horses in the Preakness as possible. I mean, that would seem to be the reason, right?
You got to believe that, right? So then you would have the Derby and then the Saturday most years before Memorial Day. The Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, you would oftentimes have the Preakness. And then 3 weeks later, you'd have the Belmont. Now, this is not, you and I have discussed this before. We don't want to bore our audience, although the horse racing numbers in the markets that we're in are outstanding, believe it or not. But, there are some in the industry that think that what the sport should do is do the Derby the first Saturday in May, do the Preakness the first Saturday in June, and do the Belmont July 4th weekend or on July 4th.
And that's what Miller and Moulton think, by the way. I mean, we're on board with that. We have been for a decade. And we get a huge amount of crap
right
when we have our main Derby guest on.
So just something to pay attention to. All right. In a little over 30 days after the Derby, you have the Preakness, and then the expectation is it's going to go up for bid. Interesting. Between NBC, Fox, Amazon, and Netflix. And Fox has already said, we will change the Triple Crown, albeit just a week. But in that sport, that'll be earth-shattering. So
I'm trying to find, I know the purist hates all change. I'm trying to find, the one of us, David, the guy who pays attention to horse racing for a month and a half, if you will. Because the Preakness, if last year's Derby winner didn't go to the Preakness, right?
No, and has not been uncommon lately. It's been about an every other year thing for the last handful of years, 6 or 7 years. Honestly, that, they just say, my horse doesn't match up. It's not enough time. And let's face it, you win the Derby, you've already known that the horse is going to make you millions and millions of dollars. So unless you feel you can win the Triple Crown, why race them?
By the way, there is one of the favorites that I don't know if Miller and or Moulton are allowed to bet on simply because of the name.
Big Citrus.
So Happy. Just for what it's worth.
How could we bet? I mean, if there was a middle initial or name that went with So Happy, possibly, but how could we, snarky, sarcastic Miller and Moulton, now our wives would put $5 down on So Happy. Oh, look at that. That's such a nice name. Oh, and look, it's a pretty horse and I like the colors.
The
Right.
Derby favorite at this point, this could all change. But my wife already has an exact bet, and she doesn't know it. My very Catholic wife.
Right.
Commandment is right now the Derby by the points earned. They have that whole criteria.
Right.
Commandment is number 1. So Happy is number 4. If that's not her exact bet, I don't know what is, David. I will bet it for her, if you know what I mean. But the Derby in a couple of weeks, we'll obviously get into that as we get closer. We love talking a little horses on this show.
So just wanted to throw that out there. But also, yeah, the Derby's 2 weeks Saturday. So got to get you home by then. That's another thing. Get me your well, it's also your daughter's birthday, so
Yeah.
I know that. Okay, but I mean, get me somebody to talk to. Okay, and say, listen, you don't understand. Okay, first off, daughter's birthday, very emotional, sentimental. But here's the thing: these people throw a Derby party every year. Okay, they like the hats. Okay, the wife's dressing up in an outfit with hats. Don't kid yourself. Okay, whether he's there or not. So come on now.
No
Come
parties
on.
for me. I can't be around that many people, but it might just be 3 people wearing hats, David.
Well, right.
That might be it.
And they might be birthday hats for all we know, but damn it, you need to be a part of it. So
a poll question out there today, inspired by how much time I have spent alone in a small room. What are you more interested in, or what is more sexy? We have it up 2 different ways. I went with our Twitch YouTube audience a little differently. NBA play-in games or interior defensive linemen in the draft. Right now, interior defensive linemen dominating.
There was one point in the poll question where I was the only one who had voted for the NBA play-in. I don't know if that's still the case or not. But
Pat Kerwin coming up, ready to talk interior defensive linemen and day 2 running backs with Pat.
Listen, there will likely be, for need, 1 or 2 interior defensive linemen drafted, but this is an edge rusher draft. This is not a defensive tackle draft. I mean, a lot of the quote unquote grades that I've seen, there's hardly any, if any, defensive tackles who get a first-round grade. There's 1 or 2 in certain people's grading that 27 or 30 or 32. But, like the kid from Clemson, is it Miller?
Yeah, Blake Miller. No, he's an offensive tackle. The defensive tackle from Clemson's Peter Woods.
Okay.
But I'm saying you're dealing with linemen from Clemson, David. I think we can all cut you a pass. One's a tackle that's like 6th or 7th, and the other one's maybe the second best D tackle.
Well, and also I'm 9 days out. I mean, I'll get all this down by next week. But so anyway, that's kind of what we're talking about. Once again, we'll say it. We're talking 1 running back, at most 2. Like some think Seattle might bookend the draft with Love's teammate to help replace Kenneth Walker.
You kind of ticked me off there, because I was going to throw that one at you to bother you even more. How surprised would you be because they need a running back if they go get the other kid from Notre Dame with Big 32?
But 1 quarterback, 2 tops, but most people think Simpson is not going in the first round. So if we're talking 1 running back, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, 1 or 2 defensive tackles, I mean, we're starting to check off positions here. What does that leave? That leaves defensive ends and offensive tackles.
Well, there could be 6 receivers that go in the first round. There could be.
But
Now they're all going to go, for the most part, 4 of them are going in the second half of the draft.
right, and there's
Because you've got Lemon and you've got Tate that are expected to go in the first half of the draft. Then when does the run on receivers come?
right. When does it start? But there's a lot of people that think it won't happen in the top 10. Will it start at Miami at 11? Will it start at the Rams at 13? I'll make a prediction.
I think New Orleans is the X factor there. Do the Saints go? Do they go Tate at 9 or at 8? Rather.
Yeah, Washington 7, Kansas City 9, Cincinnati 10. So do the Saints at 8 go receiver? Most people think it's the only chance a receiver goes in the top 10. I got to say, if I'm the Dolphins, I'm not taking a receiver at 11 unless none have been taken, and you can have your choice of the guy that you think is the best receiver in the draft. But then again, I don't know how many tackles are going to be taken by the Dolphins. Are going to be in an interesting spot. The Dolphins, I think, could be in a prime trade spot.
I agree. I also think the Dolphins, for really both picks, David, if you just went best player, and that was my note for the Dolphins, because there are so many needs on that team. If the Miami Dolphins went best player available with both of their first round picks, how upset could you be? Seriously.
To be brutally honest, if they're not going to trade any of their top, picks in the first 3 rounds, they probably should just draft best player available in every single spot, because their roster is one of the 3 worst in the league.
Yeah. I mean, they've got 4 third-round picks. They got a second-round pick, 2 first-round picks. 7 guys. They go best player available for all 7. If you're a Dolphin fan, can you honestly be upset with that?
And if I was the GM, every time I went to the microphone, give me a number. Give me a pick number that they have. Okay.
Pick number 43.
Yeah, and if I'm the new GM, I walk up to the board and say, well, he was 27 on our board, so I couldn't pass him up. And then with 3rd round, it'd be the same deal. Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. He was 48 on our board. How am I going to pass him up at 70, whatever?
And they're busy on the back end of the 3rd round, 87, 90, 94. I mean, you've got so many starting positions available on that roster. You can fill a lot of them. There's nowhere you don't need depth. There's nowhere you don't need talent. There's not a spot. I mean, I think the only thing I might be upset if the Miami Dolphins drafted was a running back. Seriously. In the first 3 rounds. If they draft a running back, I would go, well, they don't really need that. Everything else, I'm fine with.
You offer Achane an extension? He's a running back.
Is this the last year coming up, or does he have 2 more left?
No, remember, he was the 3rd round. I mean, so, he only had a 4-year rookie deal. I thought last year was year 3. Was it just year 2?
Yeah, yes, I would, David. I would.
I think this year's year 3 of his 4-year rookie deal.
Left.
I think so.
I mean, you could do it next offseason, and then the cap starts getting more friendly. So, yes, I would.
I mean, you'd save money if you signed it now, but you run the risk, obviously for a full year of him getting hurt. But just throwing that out there, because it's not like there's a lot of guys on the team to potentially offer extensions to.
Day 2 running backs, interior defensive linemen.
Oh, here we go.
Kerwin and I are going to have a conversation next. Yep. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
EPA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit edisonawards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, fellas. David, in our presence is a man who did his first mock draft. Let's say a round of applause for Mark notifying me on Sunday I'm doing my first mock draft.
Yeah.
After years of abusing both of us for even talking about the subject.
Oh, you should have heard the guy. I text David on Sunday and I just said, when you find out what I did, I wouldn't tell him. I said, when you find out on the air what I did this weekend, you're either going to hit me or hug me.
I love that you did it. It's a drill that you should always put yourself through because you start to realize decisions are hard to make.
Well, and I mean, like, you know, I am paying more attention than I probably ever have because, you know, a lot of people think Reese is the most talented guy in the draft, but he's not as ready as Bailey. So what if the Cardinals really want Bailey?
You just take him.
But if he's not, you know, if the Jets take Bailey and they're not as high on Reese, do you go Love? I mean, the more I read into it, the more I'm becoming Moulton, where I think a million different things could happen.
Well, because I love when, and I heard David saying it. Well, we had him 27th on our board, and he said that for 4 picks in a row, which tells me his board was out of whack in the eyes of some, not me. But they're all different. And I've been there when the board gets manipulated by scheme. It gets manipulated by off the field. It gets manipulated by short arms. It gets manipulated by agents. And the next thing you know, no two boards are the same. So when a guy says, well, we had him 10th on our board, you probably did. Doesn't mean you were right, but you probably did. It's amazing. And I seen the board change over last night when no one's around. How did that happen? Who walked in there and moved names around? That would be the general manager at the time. Why? Because his best friend was Bobby Beathard, who told him, you have the guy too low. After a year of work, one phone call from one friend,
Right.
and we're moving the board around. I mean, the most important thing I learned was the board's on magnets, so you can move them. Oh, yes. But it was great to know you were doing it.
Yep. That's
Because it makes you think about the team. It makes you think about their needs. Now, that's the other thing. You know, 99.9% of the fans think you should draft for need. They never want to draft for the future. And you want to prove it to them? Draft a quarterback when you have a good starting quarterback. They can never see that.
Well, I mean, it's like the only, like I have like needs for every team. There's only one team I wrote down one thing, and that was Dallas. And I just put D because they better be drafting D with both of their first round picks.
Stephen Jones was on our show, and he said he didn't even know there was an offensive draft this year.
That good for him. That's what I mean. If I'm a Cowboys fan, that's exactly what I'd like to hear.
And how do you think their board's going to look? How do you
A lot of D.
A lot of D up early. He was funny about it. He goes, I said, so what do you think of the draft? He goes, well, we believe in defense here. And he started laughing.
Well, listen, I feel the same way about the Browns and offense. I feel that, you know.
If you talk to a Brown fan, when I do, if you mention any offensive player as someone they should take, they go ballistic.
You mean defensive?
Defensive player.
Right.
Yeah, they don't want one.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home, at least in Jacksonville and Tampa St. Pete. Final hour of the show in the 239, Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, Venice and surrounding areas, Live Oak, Lake City and surrounding areas. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. It's time to talk the NFL with Pat Kerwin. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, weekdays 3 to 6. And he joins us once again, courtesy of Pinchers. Tampa to Key West and a whole lot of points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. 9 days out from the draft, you'll be in Pittsburgh. How solidified is the board right now?
It's getting close. It's never really solidified, honestly, because I've seen it change the night of the draft, before the draft. Everyone says goodnight. They go and have dinner somewhere, and you come in the next day, and there's a couple of names moved around. So solidified the morning of the draft, because we know there's still going to be some announcements. So what are the things overshadowing the draft? We remember the gas mask. That happened the day of the draft.
All right, Laramie Tunsil.
Warren Sapp. I spent time with Warren the afternoon before the draft when it came out that he failed the drug test. And he was in New York waiting to go. And I said, you need to go home, bro. You know, they're just going to have a camera on you all day. He said, no, I came this far. I understand. So all those things add up. You know, what's overshadowing the draft right now? In a lot of ways, not going to affect the draft. But my buddy Dave McGinnis just died. That's heart-wrenching to me, but I'm not involved with the draft. Vrabel and Rossini's still out there. Reuben Bain in the car accident, and there'll be more stuff. So to answer your question, things will be changing, and there's still some late stuff going on, and there's still visits. You know,
Absolutely.
Think about all the
we're reading about visits every day. I want to ask you about the Bain thing, because as we pointed out yesterday, this is something that the NFL teams already knew about. But the article comes out from a story from a couple of years ago that Bain was involved in a car crash where somebody died. I'm not asking about that because I think the teams knew. However, now that it's public and PR perception could be hurt by drafting Bain, how much does that affect him? Because some teams may not want the public perception of that by drafting him.
Well, it will have an effect at certain places. I think most people it'll land up in the category of the big defensive tackle from Georgia who went to the Eagles. But you have owners. Now, the PR director doesn't just work for the club. He works for the owner. And one or two of them are going to say to the owner, you know, if we draft that kid, you're going to end up being asked all these questions about it and justifying why you did it. And there's no escape for you. you're the one who gave final approval on taking a guy, which means, in a sense, you were okay with it. So some owners will be fine. They'll say, I trust my people. We did our homework, all the standard answers. But there'll be one or two that won't want to do that. And they may tell their general manager, try to work around that one, will you please? And usually that's driven by people like the wives who have done things in the past to influence decisions. We all remember the defensive tackle from Nebraska that was drafted by the Patriots. And it came out literally right after they picked him, what happened. And the owner's wife made sure that player was dismissed immediately. He never played for the Patriots. I got a chance to know him and his family, and a good guy, raised a beautiful family up in New Jersey. And, but the owner's wife wanted nothing to do with it. So he never played for those guys. So it can happen all the way through this whole process. As the owner said to me, I keep saying it on this show, just tell me everything you know about him. And if I find out the day after we pick him something you didn't know, that'll be a real problem for you.
Well, I still think the floor for Bain is somewhere 9 or 10. It's not like the Chiefs. I mean, Andy Reid has a history of not walking away from people who have problems, and hell, giving people second and third chances. And I'm not even talking about his personal life. And then you get to the Bengals. I mean, please, the Bengals in character and the draft. I mean, so I'd be very surprised if Bain fell out of the top 10, because the Chiefs and the Bengals at 9 and 10 have never had a problem taking a guy if he's got, a black mark on his resume somewhere. That's just my opinion. Both the Chargers and Bears at 22 and 25 have maybe their biggest need at defensive tackle. This is not a great draft for defensive tackles, but Dexter Lawrence has requested a trade, and both the Chargers and the Bears can afford to acquire Dexter Lawrence. He's 28 years old. Don't they have to offer up at least their first-round pick to the Giants for Dexter Lawrence?
At a minimum. I mean, there was anything. If you're calling and making a ridiculous offer, you're wasting your time. So,
Okay, well, how much more?
If I owned Dexter Lawrence,
Yeah.
and I was a brand new head coach, a 1 and a 2.
Does the 2 have to be this year? What if I go 1? What if I go 1 and a 4 this year, a 2 next year?
Keep talking. You're getting warmer.
1 and a 3 this year, a 2 next year.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Okay. But I mean, think about it. They both think they are legitimate Super Bowl contenders. They don't think they're missing many pieces. They are both desperately missing a big defensive tackle. And this is not a good draft for defensive tackles. If you're the Chargers and the Bears, don't you really have to consider making a huge play for Dexter Lawrence?
Yes. And once you call, I'm Harbaugh John, and my brother's calling me.
Right.
Hello, Jimmy. Jimmy, you're getting so close. Call me back when you're closer. I would try to steal as much as I could for him. And I don't know. I'll tell you what, Mr. Mara's going to ask John, what are we doing if we don't have him? What are we doing with those picks? Because I just heard Dave Moulton say on the air that it's a bad year for tackles. So how are we replacing Dexter Lawrence? Now, does that mean up top you're going to change your whole philosophy, and who you going to take up there? Let's say the owner says you can do it, but you got to take a tackle up at 5. Who are you taking? What defensive tackle are you plugging in to make this all work?
Well, no.
Well, I'd be doing it with the second pick. I mean, if you're getting there 1, that's to me where I think where David and I both think you get the tackle. And I'm just curious with that, Pat, the kid from Ohio State, the kid from Clemson, the kid from Florida. Do you like any of those players enough to take a late first-round pick with them?
Well, I can't guarantee to my owner that they're going to be there. To your point about a weak class, I'll just look at our mock draft. all the way down there at the Chargers. The only one left was Peter Woods, and Peter Woods is sliding fast. I talked to Matt Patricia yesterday, specifically about his nose tackle. And I say that real slow because what he said to me was he's a nose tackle. He didn't say he was a 3 technique. He never said he was a 5 technique. He said he's a heck of a nose tackle. So is that too limiting to you, Mark? I can get you the Ohio State kid, but he's a 0-1 technique. And according to his coach, heck of a kid, maybe a little more explosive than people think. I'm just quoting him here. But he's an inside guy. So I'm not so sure. I like him a lot. But is that replacing what Lawrence does, David?
Well, but the other, no one, they can't draft anybody or sign anybody who's going to replace Dexter Lawrence value for value. But you do also take $20 million off your books for each of the next 2 years. That's part of unloading Dexter Lawrence, because also you're making a decision right now. A, are we going to extend him another 2-3 years? But B, are we ready to throw a signing bonus on top, and you throw that money into each of the next 2 years so that he feels he's making what market value is? So if you're the Giants, you're basically saying, listen, to make him happy, we are going to have to offer him 3 years and about $105 million, 30 a year for a 3-year extension, and $15 million up front, so he'll play the next 2 years on his old contract.
I could care less if he's happy. You should care less if he's happy. I'm telling you right now, John Harbaugh is not here to rebuild the Giants. He's here to get a winning football team. So all of that stuff means nothing to the owner, who's not doing well physically, who'd like to see something good happen, and he probably needs Lawrence to do it, number one. Number two, there is no guarantee that pick down the bottom is going to arrive at a defensive tackle. All of us agree that no one's replacing. As soon as I heard no one can replace DeMarcus Lawrence, we're not trading him. That's the next thing. Third, he's got 2 years left in his deal. Next year, we'll talk to you about your contract. You got to play hardball with guys. You can't worry about, are they happy? No. And I guess you don't think the Giants are a very good roster. Oh, and by the way, you guys, we've said this 1,000 times on this show. You have a starting quarterback on a rookie contract. Now is when you pay your best players, because you don't have to pay the quarterback yet. So this is the perfect opportunity to take care of DeMarcus Lawrence in time. And John Harbaugh is not here for a 10-year experiment. I know John very well. He's not here for that. So the more we talk about it, the more I decide I don't like the offer anymore.
Okay.
All right. We've talked, Dave and I have talked a lot. One quarterback, one running back, one tight end in the first round. I started thinking last night, Pat, we got about a minute. 2 running backs in the first round. Is Seattle going to let the other Notre Dame running back slide by at 32? They need one.
Yeah, I think they will. I've talked to that kid. He's a pretty good player, but we only had one in the first round. We only had one in the second round, the other Notre Dame guy. We didn't have any guys in the third. Well, actually, I looked at the draft the other way. The third round is going to probably get 3 or 4 more running backs done. The fourth round is going to get 3 or 4 more running backs done. And then the fifth round, here's what I think. I think Washington, Coleman, and Johnson go in the third round, with the 2 Notre Dame guys gone in 1 and 2. Then the fourth round, the 2 Penn State kids and maybe Claiborne. And then in the fifth round, Black and McGowan and the other Indiana kid. I think you can get backs. Now, the guy that should go to Seattle is Coleman. He's the brute, and they know him really well.
They should. He's played right there. He's Pat Kerwin. NFL Radio's moving the chains. More with Pat on the other side.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. AmericanPaintSupplies.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So you think Banks, McDonald, and what about Miller, the Georgia guy? Are they all first round picks?
You talk about the tackle, Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went in the bottom of the first round for us. I kept taking tackles because big guys are big guys, and a lot of drafters like taking tackles because they're safer to take. So we got 6 out of the first round, and that kind of starved the second round until I think there was 1 or 2. And then you'll see a bunch of third and fourth rounders. All the guys from the Senior Bowl will be in the fourth round, maybe 1 or 2 in the third. But yeah, I mean, it's your first point. I was listening to you guys. You know, there's going to be a run on things. Positions that are short of talent. The first time one goes, you'll see the second one go pretty quick, like corners. Once, Delane goes, I think we'll see 2 or 3 of them go pretty quick.
By the way, is he for sure the best corner, or did the Tennessee guy running what he runs coming off the ACL? How many guys are going to be intrigued by him?
They're going to like him, but I think I have not heard anyone. Now, this is right up Jake's alley because he's down there, and he's over at LSU every day. And he said the people have been pouring through there about him. So I don't think he's going to lose the top spot.
By the way, Pat, for the record, what I would do if I was the Giants, I would draft Bain. And I would have Bain, Carter, Thibodeau, Burns, and Dexter Lawrence. And I may trade Thibodeau. But imagine passing downs where I've got Bain on the inside next to Lawrence.
Yep.
And I got Burns, Lawrence pushing the pile, and Carter. My edge rushers are Burns and Carter, Bain against guards, and Dexter Lawrence getting double teamed.
Yeah,
that's my pass. That's 60 sacks, by the way. That's the Texans.
That is what they should do. And they have the ability and the talent to do it. And they've got Thibodeau. If I'm John, I don't get rid of Thibodeau. He's my insurance policy against an injury.
Totally. And you can still, I'll bet you could trade him at the deadline and get what you could get for him during the draft. I'll bet you could get a third for Thibodeau. If he's somewhat productive, I'll bet you get a third round. Right. I'll bet you can get a third round pick for him mid-October if you
no doubt. And there's a number of people that have been playing that 5 down thing where they put 5 of them one on. Now you can't double team Lawrence.
Right.
And you can go 5 down with that guy. And all of a sudden, you just got secondary guys behind you. You don't even need linebackers after that.
Well, good, because they don't have many.
That's right. I don't think they're going to be that bad. I don't know what you guys are hearing, but Peter Woods is not doing great.
The Clemson kid?
He was a shit interview, boy, he was really. A lot of guys said, I said, did you guys like Woods? No.
Huh.
And he's like one of those, I don't know if I want to coach that guy. And I'm not going to bash him. I'm just telling you that he's going to go in the first round because he's versatile and all that crap. But, man, there's not a lot of guys in love with him.
Which is funny because I'm hearing the guy who practiced against him, the O lineman, they really like.
Yeah. But it's his person. And we had him. He was like a turd, really. But there's been a lot of guys like that have been great players.
Right. Oh, yeah. Right.
I remind people, I say, that doesn't mean he's a bad player. Just mean no one wants to talk to him, be friends with him. No one's going out to dinner with him. All that.
Right.
Nonsense.
That's okay. You don't have to invite him to the office party. It's fine.
I think he's used to not being invited.
Right.
He's a grumpy guy, so we'll see.
Oh, it's right up Miller and Moulton's alley right there.
God, you too.
I don't care if my big guy.
Yeah.
Is he a big, is he angry? That might be a plus.
Yeah. Yep.
Yinzer mentioned James Harrison. God, Cower tells funny James Harrison stories.
He does. He didn't know what he was doing. I mean, literally did not know what he was doing.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Remaining moments with Pat Kerwin. Surya Fernandez. Little Miami Heat NBA play-in preview coming up in a little more than 15 minutes time. All right, Pat, quickly, because we got about 10 minutes. Give us somebody who's rising. And it doesn't have to make it into the first round, but somebody, the fastest riser of all the people you talk to is?
Oh, yeah. Well, without even looking at the list of guys, I do pay attention to that. I'll tell you, Cooper's rising fast, the receiver.
From Indiana?
Yeah, he's flying. He's got to the first round, and he wasn't earlier. Now, let me just start with receivers quickly. As you say, there's 22 receivers that have had visits, a top 30 visit. There's no such word as top 30 visit. And it's interesting that 22 guys have already been brought into places. A guy that I have really no sense of where he's going to go is Hurst. He's already had 6 visits. You pay attention. Lemon has the most at 10, Concepcion at 9, Cooper at 8. You start looking at how many guys are taking him in, but Cooper's doing a quick rise to the top of this thing. I do think that your point about guys that are at defensive tackle, all of a sudden Christian Miller's name, which was never near the first round, is really down by the bottom of that. There'll be desperation if Hunter and McDonald and Woods and Banks, even if Banks has got some medical stuff, the 35-inch arms and the ridiculous athleticism of him, he'll go. Who do I think is really moving in that no one ever talked about before? I don't know if he's going to make the first, but D'Angelo Pons is getting a lot of play from people that need a slot nickel corner because he's really an interesting he calls himself the boundary corner, but he's more than that. I don't know. I'm looking at other guys that
it's good.
Scare me a little bit, but their names are starting to pop up. I never hear Simpson in the first round, though. Oh, maybe here's the guy that's moved the fastest, the farthest, Monroe Freeling. Why? Because he's a left tackle.
And there aren't a lot of them.
The other guys are right tackles.
Right. No doubt. All right, Pat, this is because, you were talking about these D tackles. There's some receivers, the corner position, the safety position. But, Pat, every year, and David and I don't know if we're doing a draft show this year, but we've done many a draft show where we're trying to pick what's coming. And there's always a player that, I've got a top 100 list in front of me. There's always a player that's somewhere in the mid to late 50s that ends up being a lot higher on someone's board. If you're looking at a top 100 prospect list, how deep could a first rounder come from, if you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, as I said, we got the 6 offensive tackles, and I think that brings you all the way to Miller, which you asked me off the air. He got to the first round because What are you going to do if you wait? You're starting to get nervous about what's after that. So that'll happen. The pass rush list looks like it's enough to supply the second round. R. Mason Thomas, second round. Zion Young, second round. Overton, second round. Dennis Sutton, second round. Moore from Michigan, second round. Akis, second round. So, the Lawrence kid from Central Florida, second round. So that supply never ran out. No one's budging on the quarterbacks or the running backs. I don't know what's going to happen with Little Branch. That kid is explosive, man. There's a couple places I'd love to see that guy. You got big outside receivers. I'd be taking Branch for the slot. That guy, and he's a returner as well. So no one's touching the tight ends. I think they're going to start banging them up in the third round. I will say the Vandy kid Stowers is starting to get a little heated up, where he's more like an early third, late second. He's an incredible athlete, but he's starting to get more action. He's got a bunch of visits too. So the visit list tells you something about interest. Not everything, but enough.
But what Mark was getting to is, wasn't when Belichick took Cole Strange and there were a lot of people that had him ranked in the third round. Okay. And he took him late in the first round. So that's, a guy who was in the 70s on a lot of people's boards. And
I'll give you one. Now that I hear that question, Rutledge, the Georgia Tech offensive lineman, redheaded maniac, he's one of those guys. There are people that like him, and he's sitting in oblivion on a draft board. I'll bet you if Mark looked at his board, he either doesn't have him in the 100 or he's got him in the 80s.
Who was that, Pat?
Rutledge.
Yeah, I've got him 62 actually on the list I have in front of me. I mean, it's not my list, but he's 62 on the list I have in front of me.
Right. So that's the bottom of the second round.
Right.
He's interesting. He's getting a lot of action. We already like Basantis, although he's got those short arms. Dunker we like. We had him at the Senior Bowl. But Rutledge is a guy that's getting a lot of, I like Rutledge. I think what happened to Rutledge is line coaches. When the line coaches go in to work the guys out, everything changes. And it's one of the only position groups where the position coach works out everybody. And I think the line coaches have endorsed our friend Rutledge.
The Penn State interior lineman, he's ranked pretty high on what I'm looking at in front of me. Where's his, floor, if you will? Like, there's a lot of people that have him associated with Baltimore. You don't typically take a guard in the top 10, so I don't see him going there. But how far could he slip?
I don't think he can get past Pittsburgh. I mean, he looks like the captain of the Pittsburgh Steelers to me, that guy. So those kind of places that value the physicality of their linemen. So Pittsburgh would be the ending 21. I don't see him falling past that.
Do you
he
see
is very well thought of.
Do you see anyone taking Ty Simpson before the Jets at 44?
Yeah.
Okay, so you think Jets at 33, Arizona 34. Let's see. There's always a Cleveland pick. So you think Miami's right before the Jets at 43. So if you were wanting Simpson in the second round, you don't think he makes it to 44?
I think Arizona would take him at 34.
Oh, okay. Well, then, boy, that could be an auction for the Jets then at 33.
Yeah. So I think that happens. There's always one curveball in there. I'm not a big fan of Simpson. Didn't play enough football for me, and he couldn't beat out Milroe. We talked about that last week. Milroe's a third-round player who's not getting on the field, and all of a sudden we got a guy who couldn't beat him out. That's, the savior. But maybe it's the necessity of the draft. Where would Simpson be if the guys who pulled out of this draft stayed in? Where would he be, David?
Probably in the third round.
Right. So we inflated him because of. I like Mesidor.
I know you do, but you said this is an edge-rich draft. I've seen him in the 20s. I've seen him in the teens. I know you like him, Pat, but is he someone that could be there late first round?
Maybe. I like Tampa Bay at 15 as a spot for him. I like Dallas as a spot for him. Then you can get right down the list here to other people that are going to be thinking about Chicago. If they don't have a tackle, that could be them. Those kind of places. Where's Kansas City? Because Kansas City would like him.
He's 29, are the
Yeah.
Chiefs. Their second one.
Yep.
And I'm assuming when you say Dallas, you're thinking 20, not 12.
Yes. Yeah, the second half of the first round.
Right. Okay. Yep.
And I could see the Chargers looking at Mesidor as well. You know, I'm in love with Sadiq, Pat, but if Baltimore doesn't take him, Tampa doesn't take him, boy, Carolina could really use a guy like that, couldn't they?
Yep. Well, he's a phenomenal athlete. I did get the old, he's got short arm thing. I got to stop listening, but he had 31-inch arms. You know, you really want to be able to reach out and get a ball, but he's a phenomenal athlete. I don't see how he's going to fall very far, because what's going to happen with him is when you put your draft board together, I don't care. They're never all the same, but you're going to be sitting there around 14 or 15, and there's going to be one name left up top. Everything else will be gone, and he might be sitting there. And it is a bad draft for tight ends. So not only is he the best one, in a lot of ways, I didn't have another one going in the second round. I had one in the first round. I asked one assistant GM, and he said, after Sadiq, it's going to be day 3 for tight ends. That was his point.
Pat Kerwin, NFL Radio Moving the Chains, weekdays 3 to 6. Pat will be back with us on Friday here on Miller and Moulton. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
And I don't know who the person was. We've only got about 20 seconds, so I'll try to go fast. But someone was asking about Pat's resume. Pat was the director of player personnel for the Jets, worked his way up through that organization. Pretty well regarded in NFL circles, been doing media forever.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. The NBA play-in games. First two are tonight. And so the Heat in a 9-10 game, and they're the 10. It just sounds bad, doesn't it? We're on the road in Charlotte. Do you know how not good Charlotte has been for a while now? And you're on the road for this play-in game.
Yeah, it sounds really bad. But I don't know what to tell you. They're not a
good team.
They're not a good team.
No, they're mediocre.
And can they win in Charlotte? Of course they can. I
Sure.
mean, Bam Adebayo, he's going to have an advantage in this game, but they're not good enough to beat a Detroit. And Miami, if they get in the draft, what is it? I think that they could be the 12th or the 13th pick, depending on who wins and loses in this thing. And that gives them it's only like a 4% chance of the first overall. I think a 7% chance of the first overall pick.
Right.
But that's better than if they win, where they have a 0.0% chance. And if somehow this is a lottery where I don't think there's is there a clear cut number one? There are five guys. I think the BYU, is he the number one? I don't know, David. You got Boozer, you got the kid from BYU, the kid from Illinois just came out. You got the kid from North Carolina. I mean, there seemingly are difference makers in the first five picks. That's been rare for an NBA draft this decade.
As AJ from BYU declared, the last public comments, I remember him saying he hinted that he may stay because he's making a lot of money. Mormons don't lack for money.
What happens if they start spending it in football?
Well, they are.
But if it works, I guess.
They've finished in the top 12 each of the last 2 years. They've just missed out on the playoffs both years. They've just been out both years. But they are spending the money. They're right there. And they've got a shot this year. Early in the season, they host Notre Dame. BYU does.
That's right, because the USC game's not being played. They replaced
Right.
USC with the Mormons.
And the joke, and Notre Dame made sure to let everybody know where BYU has finished the last 2 years versus where USC has finished the last 2 years.
So it is BYU, I think you were the one that, when you and I, this goes back like 10 years on this show, when we were talking about teams that aren't there that could be. And I've always been, why the hell is Arizona State not better at sports?
Right.
It drives me crazy. One of the deepest alumni bases. They obviously just can't seemingly get the money that they need.
Well, they've got, I think, the biggest online undergraduate program in the country. I think it's 6 figures. They have that many people enrolled online. So it's a university that is not lacking for money. All right, let's switch gears. Back to the NBA play-in, which the Heat are in again. Surya Fernandez, editor-in-chief, hothoops.com, hothoops.com. Follow Surya on X at Surya Heat NBA, Surya Heat NBA. Surya, David, and Mark, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's our pleasure. Okay. Every Heat fan we know wants them to lose. Okay. So that Pat
Yeah.
Riley and company have to finally accept reality and do something big this offseason. Is that what your listeners are telling you?
Yep, that's what they're telling me. That's what my coworkers tell me. There's not much confidence heading into this play-in game tonight against Charlotte. Charlotte has improved over the season. The Heat have regressed. They have similar records, but they're on different trajectories. And yeah, I agree with you. The Heat need to make a bold move. The East is there for the taking, not this year for the Heat, and maybe in a couple of years, but it's not going to happen right now. No.
All right, talk to me. Let's just, David might be able to talk more play in and get interested. I just don't have it because even if they were to get through this, they're not going to beat Detroit. When you look at this roster,
Right.
What is it you see? Give me the glass half full for the Heat fan of how an offseason works to where they go from 10 to, out of the damn play-in game, maybe hosting a first-round series because it's, Cleveland, the Knicks, the Celtics, and the Pistons seem to have a little bit of a stronghold on the top four. What do the Heat need to do to get there?
On paper, you would think the Heat have what it takes because they have an all-star this year. They have an all-star from last year. They have a player that was capable of scoring 83 points in one game. You do have some interesting pieces there. The hope would be that clearly it's not enough to be an elite team in the East, but the hope is that maybe Milwaukee with Giannis or maybe another team is intrigued by a few of those pieces, that he can package that together with a few picks, and they have somebody that can move the needle because they have a lot of good players. They don't have a great player, and that's what you need to succeed.
Let's be realistic, though. I mean, I don't think they can start trading their picks till 28. So whoever, let's just say Milwaukee wants to do the deal. Don't they have to wait on the picks? Number one. Number two, I mean, aren't they going to want two of their three best players? I mean, they're giving up Giannis, for goodness sakes. I mean, Tyler Hero and 3-1s isn't going to get it done, if you know what I mean. I mean, they're going to have to give up everybody but Bam, right?
It would be something like that where they can choose Hero, maybe maybe one of those younger, one of those former Heat first rounders, maybe two of those, and then you could draft a player for the Bucks in this draft and send them as well. And I believe they can move the 2032. It's so far off. I don't even remember the year, but I believe they can move that first round pick as well. They have an extra second round pick from that Terry Rozier failed trade. Is it enough? I guess that's up to the Bucks. They did seriously consider it, supposedly, that those reports came out last week that the Bucks would have considered it. Giannis, maybe if it was 5 years ago, I would say the Heat have no chance. Now, if he really wants to come to Miami Heat, I think the Bucks could do him a solid and send him over here. I don't know how many other teams could put together the best trade packages for him, but he is injury prone. He's older. He's still a force to be reckoned with. I would recommend that he do everything he can to get a player, whether it's him or someone like him, a perennial all-star, and pray that they can put together some sort of package to make that happen.
All right. They have, if they lose tonight, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like pick 12 and like a 7% chance to get a 1. I believe in there aren't many sports conspiracy theories that I believe in. I do believe the NBA lottery system tries to benefit teams that the NBA likes. The Heat are one of those teams. If they were to get a top 3 pick out of this lottery, how different could this team be? Take Giannis out of the equation. Hero, Bam, and one of the top 3 players. Does that change things quickly?
No, not quickly. No. You'd have to have one of those like once in a generation player. But even a Victor Wembanyama or a LeBron James, they weren't gonna in their rookie year. They weren't gonna lead their team to the playoffs and be the best player on that team. That's just unrealistic. They might have great games here and there. But look at Cooper Flag, as good as he was this year, the Mavericks aren't going anywhere. So it'll help, but it won't help not quickly, like you said. No.
What if the Heat do what they so often have done in the past? What if they win these 2 play-in games, but then go quietly in the first round of the playoffs? I mean, will it really set the franchise back? I mean, does the franchise forget what the fans want? Does the franchise need to lose? Because that's not the Heat's way of thinking, Surya. I mean, they
Never.
they'd throw a family member overboard on a cruise before they'd surrender a play-in game. So, I mean, how imperative for their future is this little play-in tournament?
Yeah, if they were to move up in the draft, that would be significant. But if not, which is usually the case, it would just be maybe a few spots difference. And the Heat draft well in the middle of the round. They're used to it. If they identify a player that they like, they'll probably get them anyway. The Heat, you have to respect that. They don't tank.
No.
They don't do anything like that.
No, they don't.
But what does that mean is that they're stuck in the middle now with this play-in tournament. They're in that, they can't get out of it. So how do you get out of that rut, so to speak? Winning these, they have to win this game, and then they have to win another game on the road. Then they'd have to, go against a top seed like the Pistons. I guess it's good for playoff experience for the young guys, for the rookie Kasparas. That's the only benefit I can see. The Heat get to sell a couple of tickets in the playoffs. Other than that, they don't really have a chance in the first round. But I can see them winning these 2 games because that is what the Heat do. They all of a sudden start to play well during the play-in.
Is there? I don't like using this phrase because I mean, is there a blame? Is this just a matter of Butler got old? Is there someone to blame, or what's the main reason behind the mediocrity? Is it just something that happens? When you look at this team right now, do you point a finger or do you just say this is kind of the way it is?
I think the Heat do a good job of developing players that are undrafted, that are second-round picks, that are even first-round picks that went under the radar, like a Bam or a Jaime Jaquez Jr., or even Kasparas. But they kind of fall in love with those players, and they don't want to give them up, and they think they're better than they really are. I think that's the main problem. I think that a team like Chicago Bulls is like that too. They have young players, but they don't think they think they're going to develop them into these great players, or they're afraid of letting them go early and then they develop elsewhere. But I think it's that. I think they like their players to a fault, and I think they think that they're better than they really are.
Surya Fernandez, editor-in-chief, hothoops.com. Hothoops.com. Follow him on X at Surya, Surya, Heat NBA. Surya Heat NBA. Surya, thanks so much. Appreciate your time. And if the Heat go on a run, we'll be bothering you next week.
All right, sounds good.
Appreciate your time. The Heat in the play-in at Charlotte tonight, 5.5-point dog. Losers out. Winner can play their way in Friday. They'll be on the road against whoever loses tomorrow night's Orlando-Philadelphia game in Philly. Be something that the Magic and Heat are playing for, the 8 seed. Winners in, losers out.
Would be. I think, obviously I'd like to see them both from the standpoint of talkability. Be nice to see them both get in. But I thought his answer on the blame was interesting. That they think more highly of their players than everyone else does. And they've had opportunities to part with guys and make moves, and either the package hasn't been right, they haven't given up enough, or whatever the case may be. But they're in a spot, they're in no man. We've talked about this, David, for as long as we've done a show. Where do you not want to be? In that bottom end of mediocrity, whether it's the NFL, whether it's the NBA, whether it's the NHL. They're in a spot, baseball with the cap or with no cap, and the way you can spend money is a little different. But they are just in no man's land right now.
Pat Riley acquired Jimmy Butler 6 seasons ago. He has not been able to acquire an first-team all-star player in those 6 years. Jimmy got old, Jimmy got disgruntled, and the Heat, because of it, are where they are. The bonus hour of Miller and Moulton's next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I will say, Puck, I mean, he was in the league for 14 years as a scout and a coach and an administrator. So that's what he brings to the table. I think it's his football experience. Why he got the job he got is he made the decision in the late 90s to get out of coaching and go into media when not many people were doing that, and he's made a career out of it. So yes, his connections are valuable, but his connections are valuable because of his football knowledge. So, if you guys want to knock either side of it, that's fine. But Left Twix, I really want to get your opinion here because I'm fascinated. You seem to take a contrarian view on most things, and that's fine. First off, who do you think give me the 2 or 3 guys you think are the best coaches, and tell me what you think they would do with the Heat this year if they were coaching instead of Spoelstra. Because I would blame Riley long before I would blame Spoelstra. Now, if you think that Spoelstra is responsible for personnel, I don't. I don't think Riley would ever allow that. But I think Pat Riley and the scouting staff, that's not a good team. I know Bam scored 83, but that's not a guy that's going to win you a series by himself. But let me see here. What was their record? I mean, they were 4 games above 500. So if they have whatever, in your opinion, is the best coach, what's their record? And obviously, I mean, that's a really contrarian view because most people regards NBA people, not me. My opinion matters not here. NBA people regard him as the best coach in the league. You think he's a bad coach. You think they're mid because of Spoelstra, that they would be elite if they had someone else? I'm just curious. And okay, so if that's the case, that's fine. But so you're blaming him for wanting Butler out. Again, you didn't, so they've got to get rid of Spoelstra. And first off, he'd be on the open market for 4 seconds. But you didn't answer my question at all. Because you take contrarian views on most things. And I don't care. That's fine. It's your prerogative. We appreciate anybody being in the chat room. If the Heat are your team, who do you want their coach to be? Yeah, I believe that's the case, Fitz. I believe Pat Riley, doesn't. And I don't know what you do when you're mediocre in that league. I really don't. I think that is the toughest place to be. But they've given away so many damn draft picks for players. You look at Oklahoma City build a team, and they've got a gazillion draft picks.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour or the pro hour since we're in Jacksonville and Tampa St. Pete. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Got a full show lined up for you tomorrow. Seth Everett. We're going to have a Cowboys beat reporter. We're also going to have the voice of the Orlando Magic. So a full show already lined up for you tomorrow. Do you think people could put their anti-NBA bias to the side just to answer this question? Do you like the idea of the play-in? Remember, Mark, you and I are hockey guys. You remember the COVID year? The season got stopped a month short. And when they resumed it, was it September, August, September? North of the border there? Nobody in the stands. they had a play-in. Bettman said, well, since we had to cut the season short, there were some teams who were, quote, out, who mathematically could have played themselves in. And so they had a play-in. And it was just like the current NBA play-in. You had, the 4 teams in each conference, and it was a best of 3, if my memory served me correctly. Maybe it was a best of 5. But you played your way in, because I remember, Mark, the Rangers, who were out, but they got put in the play-in tournament, and they played Carolina, and Carolina destroyed them. I think it was a best of 5. And Lundqvist played the first 2 games, last 2 games he played in his career, and then Shesterkin played game 3. So Carolina swept the Rangers and, assumed their rightful spot in the playoffs. But Bettman's dead set against this. He's been asked about it every year since. He's like, no, our play-in's the NHL regular season. I have no interest in a play-in tournament. We did it the one time because, well, COVID. But don't ask me about it anymore. I'm just curious. In theory, do you like the play-in? I mean,
No, I don't.
okay.
I don't. I don't like it at all. I think it's working a little bit for the NBA, but the NBA has the worst regular season of the 4 major sports. It has literally become unwatchable. So when you take an entire season of garbage basketball, of load management, of the soft, they make soccer players look tough. They're so effing soft. And then you put a game in where it has meaning, it looks so much better. But I mean, let's have a 9-10 game in the NFL. We don't need this. We don't need more playoffs. We have to quit rewarding mediocrity. And in some cases, worse than mediocrity. In Gary, I trust with this one. I do.
Okay.
Can't believe I said that out loud, but I do.
Because, and listen, I love my baseball, but I mean, it wasn't that long ago. We had a 1-game play-in. We had 5 teams getting in the playoffs in each league, 3 division champions, and then the next 2 teams with best records. And they played a 1-game play-in, playoff, whatever you want to call it. And they were riveting. I mean, weren't your Tigers, didn't the Tigers and Twins play a riveting play-in game one year? I mean, we loved it. It did nice ratings. And you played 162 games, and one of you only got to play 163. And then 4 of you got to play a little more.
I understand, David, but we did that in baseball. That got it to 1/3 of the teams making the playoffs. You're talking about the NBA and the NHL, where do you realize how damn bad you have to be to miss the playoffs in those leagues? I mean, to compare the baseball play-in with the NBA or the NHL, and I understand why you're doing it, and I'm not getting upset with you, but I come on now.
I understand, but
Totally different.
But the Reds made the playoffs last year at 83 and 79. I mean, we do have. It was just in theory, not the sport. Okay, once again, you went to the NBA. Sucks.
It does.
That's not what I was asking you.
I
said,
don't like the idea of it in the NHL. I don't like rewarding mediocrity. And when you talked about baseball, that's when it was 5 teams, and then you bring up the Reds when they've increased the size of the playoffs, and they're now playing best of 3s. So, I mean, we're both guilty of doing it then. My argument to baseball, what you talked about with the play-in, was when 5 teams in a league were making it.
Okay.
How many are making it now? 6.
Right.
And you brought up so I mean, we've changed the format from what you began with to what you ended with. So I mean, it's
but once
2 different things.
You're talking about the leagues. I was just talking about the idea, the premise. Okay. Do we actually like the idea of a play-in? That's all.
And my first answer stands. I don't want to reward mediocrity.
Okay.
No matter what the sport is.
Fair enough. Fair
And
enough.
my point about the NBA is simply that the regular season has become so tough to watch that
Yes.
at least the play-in, we're getting, the maximum guys on the roster. Now, Philadelphia has some injury issues, and Embiid just had appendicitis, so that could be different this year. You have to bring up. I mean, the NCAA is going to have 76 damn teams in the tournament here.
Oh, I know. We're going to go from 4 games in Dayton, and they're going to have to find 4 more games somewhere else. Oh, yeah. Was just asking about the play-in, not about the NBA. Well, I do think, however, your point is a valid one, that it's ironic that the NBA is the one with the play-in, because it's going to be like, oh, so you mean people are going to play and they're going to play hard? Hey, what a novel concept. Because I will say this, and this is how embarrassing Colin Cowherd, could you be a national sports talk show host and be more in the tank for the NBA than Colin Cowherd?
He or Dan Patrick. I mean, Dan Patrick loves
Right.
the league too. They love the NBA.
Yes, they do. Cowherd came out the other day and said the regular season is irrelevant. Irrelevant. 6 months. Irrelevant. I mean, that's his way of saying, I'm not even going to talk about it on my show, which is based in Los Angeles, one of the few cities in the country in which you could argue the NBA is the number 1 pro league in town.
I don't even think it's arguable. I really don't, David.
And
the only thing that holds a candle to it is college football when USC's good.
I will say Ohtani and the Dodgers are monstrous.
No, you're right.
But they ain't the Lakers. If you've spent 10 minutes in Los Angeles, no one's the Lakers. Okay, what the Dodgers have going on right now gets them in the area code. The Rams are just hoping to be third. But back to the play-in. Do you know how embarrassing the regular season has become? If you think about it objectively, Mark, the only time that I can look you straight in the face and say, outside of certain teams, because I think Detroit, Boston, for the most part, the Knicks, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, okay, I think those teams showed up most every night and played.
It's funny because Boston's the team I've hated most of my life. I was a Magic guy over a Bird guy. The Pistons and Celtics, and had a great rivalry when the Pistons had to overcome them. I think the Celtics are the most enjoyable team to watch on a nightly basis in the NBA. I really do.
Yes.
Like, you put a Celtics game on, they're playing the Knicks, they're playing the Pistons, they're playing a West Coast team. It's
playing hard.
They seem to show up and play hard every damn night.
Yeah. They beat Orlando in the last game of the regular season, didn't play their starters. Their bench played their off in a game that meant a lot to Orlando and nothing to Boston. And Boston won it, and the crowd was going crazy, respecting and appreciative of the effort that those guys were giving them. Kind of like, hey, you made this 3 hours and all this money worth it. Thank you.
Yeah, I think if I were to pick one team to get season tickets for, take my previous animosity towards, if you were to say, who would you want to go watch 82 games? I would probably pick the Boston Celtics. I would.
And San Antonio might be second. I need Wemby to play a few more games, though.
Exactly.
Okay, because he only played his 65, 66 there. But back to the regular season. Do you know the only time all year that if I was a paying customer that I can be assured that my team is going to play hard? That stupid NBA Cup. For whatever reason, those teams, they were all in that. They're all in that sucker.
Tells you the appeal of Vegas to those players. They just want to get to Vegas, Dave.
It must be.
I got nothing else for you. They want to get to Vegas.
I mean, the average salary in the league is over $10 million. So the Cup can't be offering enough money that's the financial incentive, right?
Somehow they've sold that to their players.
Yes, they have.
And you have to give them credit for it. You do, because otherwise the regular season doesn't give us much of anything. There are nights that when everybody shows up and you get Oklahoma City against the right team or San Antonio against the right team. Sure.
Ryan in our Twitch chat room says, this is nice. So back to our interior defensive lineman.
Oh, I saw it and I let it go, David. Trust me. I was ready. I was trying to figure out a way to transition to what the Bucks need to do. If you're a Bucks fan, do you want an edge guy? If it's an edge guy, if it's the Miami edge guy in Mesidor, or it's Sadiq, and you're a Bucks fan, who do you want? I'm guessing it's Mesidor. I think it has to be.
It's another poll question for tomorrow right there. No need to put that up now. I just, it was just an in theory question, but man, oh man, it is so toxic right now to bring up those three letters. Honestly,
IDL, it's never bad initials.
I think I have a better chance of getting a Republican to vote Democrat than I do of getting a sports fan to watch the NBA.
Now you're going somewhere. Be careful.
But that's how toxic it is. That's how toxic it is.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
Okay, Left Twix, they're getting paid more. Do you know what you get to win the NBA Cup? $500,000. It's 7 games. That's $70,000 a game. For a guy that's making $50 million a year, I don't think that that's much of an incentive. Maybe it is. Now, if I were getting paid 5% more for doing this show for a year to do a draft show, I'd be pretty excited. If I had to do 7 draft shows, I don't know. I think it's more than that. For whatever reason, they've bought in. And it's not that much money to those guys. $500,000 to those guys is, that's not even enough to get your mistress a gift. And Leftwich, it's hard to take someone seriously that thinks a different coach for the Heat gets them to 55 wins. 55 with that roster. Okay. Their rosters are nowhere close to the Knicks or Cavs or Celtics. It's just not. I will say what the Pistons doing with that roster impresses me, because I don't think the roster's that great, but what do I know? We mentioned it briefly. I don't know how wild it is, an owner buying another team. That's, I mean, you want to see, to me, what's wild is the American owners that are spending the money they are on cricket teams. Like, that doesn't even comprehend to me. But these sports teams are all worth more and more every year. That's why they're buying into them. There are only so many of them, and the valuations of them, to David and I, we can't understand it, but they're going through the roof. And the Rockies draw really well despite being terrible.
Aren't they like 10th in attendance, the Rockies?
I don't know. I mean, I know they're a top half every year.
They had a down year last year. They were 15th. They still did 30,000 a game. A team lost how many games?
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Some final thoughts coming up in a little more than 15 minutes time. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Have covered a lot of ground today, not just in sports. Went over the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame list. You know, we yelled at each other a
In-depth
little bit.
NBA playoff play-in talk.
Yeah.
In our pro hour.
Yeah. Got after it a little bit.
All right. I've talked interior defensive linemen. I've talked day 2 running backs. But let's talk the Bucks for just a second here.
Okay.
Because David, what is it? Pick 15.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at all the teams before him, and, Mesidor I've seen dropping, but, Pat Kerwin just said he doesn't see him getting past the Bucks. Okay. Let's just take that at gospel for the moment, because you could look at this group of edge guys and wonder, you talk about runs in the draft. Let's just say your Giants take Bain, what you want, for sake of this argument.
Which I don't think they will.
Mesidor even there at 15. I'm serious. I mean, Dallas could use an edge. New Orleans. I think they're going to take a receiver, but I mean, there are there are so many teams before them that are leaning defense. That what happens if 5 edge guys are gone before the Bucks even pick?
Then they take Sadiq. I mean, that's what I think happens. They just take the best player on their board. What I'm curious though, if you're if that many edges are going, let's say Dallas didn't get one at 12. You know, Dallas doesn't have a second round pick and their third round pick is 92. They actually get it from San Francisco. Like if you're Tampa, would you go back 5 spots with Dallas to take their third rounder off their hands? Pick 92. Problem is you move back to 20 and Carolina's at 19 and nobody thinks Sadiq is making it past Carolina.
Bingo. And if you're like, I'm not making that trade if I'm Dallas. I don't have enough draft capital to give up my third round pick. I don't to move up or, you know, I mean, I just don't. I don't think Dallas is as likely to make a trade in the first round as you might, because I don't think they have as many picks as they need in this draft. If they want to get that defense better, I think they need both first round picks and their third round pick. That's just me. You know, I mean, I think your Giants are a team that could trade down. I think Washington's a team that could trade down.
Yeah, but who are people trading up for?
That's
I'm
with
question.
you. But
No. Give me one guy.
Kansas City would trade up for an edge guy. That to me it's Kansas City. If you want Bain and you're Kansas City, would you take both ones and go to 5?
Okay, I'll answer that question after maybe we can agree on this. If the top 4 are Mendoza, Reese, Bailey, the edge from Texas Tech, and Love, the running back from Notre Dame, in whatever order.
Yep, I'm fine. I'm with you.
That's your top 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the Giants at 5 don't really need an edge. I mean, they don't. I mean, they don't. They need an offensive tackle before they need one. They could use even a number 2 receiver. They lost Wan'Dale Robinson. What's his face is coming back from a major knee injury. I mean, they don't really need an edge, believe it or not. They can rush the passer. Burns, Thibodeau, Carter. They can rush the passer as is. So now it's 6. That's Cleveland.
They're going offense.
Right. Now the Giants and Cleveland are both candidates to trade out, though. I'll agree with, that. Washington could use anything.
Absolutely.
I think
Washington could use an edge. They really could.
Absolutely. Okay. To me, they take the best defensive player on the board. At 7. That's who Washington's taken. So now
that could be Sile, that could be Downs, that could be Sonny Styles. I mean,
right.
Those are both guys that are thought very highly of. I'm with you.
Right. So now we're at New Orleans. For what the thought is, New Orleans may go receiver, but they've lost some interior offensive linemen too. Do you think they're taking an edge?
I think they could. I absolutely think they could, David.
Okay, so now we've got, all right, that would be 3. If we're going Washington and New Orleans, Kansas City.
Well, if the 2 edges are gone already, in Washington and New Orleans, that could be 4. I don't think it will be, but it could be 4 because we've already got Bailey and Reese gone.
Okay, yeah. So now we could be at 4 of the top 8. Kansas City.
Now, I don't think, to me, if I'm Kansas City and 4 edge guys are gone, then that means there's a really good tackle there, and they could use that too.
Right. Or they take the number 1 corner, or they can take the number 1 receiver. Right. I agree with you. Better than taking the 5th best edge.
I think so. But
right.
But again, we've got to get all the way to Tampa here. You still got Dallas.
No, I know. I know. No, this is a nightmare for Tampa.
Right. Miami could take. Why wouldn't if Bain's still there for Miami? Miami could take in it. Miami needs everything.
Exactly. There's no one Miami couldn't take.
Cincinnati needs everything.
Well, especially on defense. Right.
Right.
In theory, Washington to me at 7 and Cincinnati at 10 are taking best defensive player on their boards.
And I think Dallas is at what, 12, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, those are 3 teams that we believe in are going to take defensive players. With the 2 best edges being gone in the first 4 picks, no matter what scenario you draw.
Boy, it'd be a reach to take Messidor that high, though. I mean, most people have him as a mid to late teen guy.
Yeah,
in
I
terms
know
of where he is in terms of talent. And now by need, we've got him potentially going as high as 12, which would, I think, if this scenario, let's just say 4 edges go in the top 10, and people think, and what would also have to happen, Downs would have to be off the board. Dallas would love Caleb Downs. Okay, let's just say 4 edges and Downs are somehow, some way off the board in the top 10. Miami's phone's ringing off the hook because everybody knows Dallas is going to take best defensive player left on the board. So everybody who wants that guy is calling Miami at 11.
which could be Styles there if Downs is gone. But I wanted to throw that out for the Tampa fan because Jacksonville doesn't have a first round pick. So I'm not neglecting our Jacksonville market, but from a first round standpoint, I am. Tampa's in such an interesting spot at 15 because I think Messidor could go there at 15, even though it's a slight reach. And if you're Carolina, by the way, you're doing the happy dance if this is going on.
Totally. Take them all, boys. Take all the defensive players you want. Go crazy. That's going to leave either number 3 receiver or Sadiq on the board for us. Go crazy.
Right. Because we haven't even talked about the 2 corners, the Tennessee corner and the LSU corner. That are also, to me, going to be picked in the first, Now, I think Tampa could go with, if somehow one of those 2 corners is there for Tampa, I don't think that's the worst pick in the world. As much as I see Sadiq with Tampa, if the right edge guy or one of those 2 corners there, what is it you want, Bucs fan? Help me. Because I know you need an edge. You need a corner, too. And you got a head coach that's going to be screaming for a defensive guy. I know he's not the one making the decision, David, but he's going to be screaming for more help on that defense. He needs to save his damn job.
Yeah, Tampa might have to trade ahead of Dallas. They may have to call Miami and make a deal. Move up 4.
The Pro Hour, specifically the Bucs right there on Miller and Moulton.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
That's as personal fans, but as a show, and we do terrestrial radio, Nanny. So thank you very much for joining us from Israel. It's a treat to have you. But we are based in the state of Florida, so we have more focus on Florida teams than probably anything else. But David and I like the best game, really and truly. We like greatness. We like great teams and great players. Can I ask you a question, given the fact you're in Israel, and I'm not going political? I would imagine, based on the media that we get in this country, that it's always a little tense there. Is it more tense now than normal? And I would imagine tension is at a much higher level there than it is here. Outrage is big here. Tension really shouldn't be. So just as a human being in Israel, is it more tense now than at any other time in your life? Yes or no? Because I know David and I could just grill you on questions like this literally for probably the rest of the day. Is that a fair statement, David?
Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. We could have you on as the bonus hour every day.
We won't, because we make a point to not do politics on this show.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Look at that. See, David, look at that. Now look at that answer that he just gave. And from the perspective we get on our news, that is not the perspective that we gather. Is that a fair statement by me?
Yeah. That's probably because the Israeli who gets put on television the most is Netanyahu, and he always looks tense.
He said no tension at all, Deadstroke. So we're on Twitch and YouTube, Nanny, but we also do terrestrial radio. That's where we got our beginning. And Chad, that wasn't really a political statement. It was just, I was just curious the level of tension there based on other things. And he gave you can't see his answer, but it's here, I'll actually put his answer up so everybody can see. That fascinates me at least. So thank you for answering. So, and what we do, just so you know, because I'm intrigued by the fact that you're here, is that when we do these shows on this is we're on several stations in the South, and while they're running their commercials, we can talk to our Twitch and YouTube audience directly. Most of our normal audience is aware of that. So when we get new people, I like to at least explain what the hell's going on. And we are done after this segment for what it's worth. Our NFL guy that you missed used to work for the Jets. I don't know what New York NFL team you're into. Probably the Giants. I would love to be on extraterrestrial radio, Chad. That would be fantastic. Which, by the way, this is just me talking here. David may disagree with me, but with all the things going on, the money we spend to make a trip around the moon makes 0 sense to me. 0.
I thought it was why we stopped doing it.
Other than the kid that I saw on a tweet go, "We're going to the effing moon, man." That's worth a few million, but certainly not the billions we spent. That's about as political as we go on this show. For what, Puck? I mean, for what? What is the point of going to the moon?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're out of here. Seth Everett tomorrow, a Cowboys guest, and an Orlando Magic guest, all tomorrow on Miller and Moulton. Mark, just to maybe put a bow on the conversation we had last segment. So, USA Today online took the most recent mock draft from USA Today, NFL.com, CBSSports.com. So they gave you, three opinions.
A little consensus.
Yeah, right. Worst case scenario, it's 2-1.
Right.
So at Tampa Bay at 15, two of those three media outlets, CBS Sports and USA Today Sports, both had Sadiq going to the Ravens at 14.
Okay.
Only the NFL.com guy had Sadiq still on the board. He had the Bucs passing on Sadiq at 15. NFL.com and CBSSports.com both have the Bucs taking the guard from Penn State.
Interesting. And that's who I've seen a lot associated with the Ravens, why Sadiq's still there. So that's interesting.
USA Today Sports had the Bucs taking Auburn edge Keldrick Falk.
A lot of upside, but boy, raw. Very raw. But that's a guy, when you look at Foles and a defensive guy, someone they think they could really work with. But I don't know how much time he's got to work with somebody in the first round.
If you're wanting consensus, the consensus amongst the three is the Rams at 13 are taking an offensive player. Two have them going wide receiver. One has them going tackle. Three totally different choices, Dolphin. Mayoaga, the offensive tackle from Miami. USC wide receiver Mekhi Lemon. LSU corner Delaney. So three different choices for the Dolphins at 11. Okay, Bengals consensus, they're going defense at 10. One of the three had the Chiefs trading up from 9 to 6 to get their hands on Reuben Bain. One of the three had the Cowboys moving up with Arizona at 3 to get Bailey, the edge rusher from Texas Tech. So some interesting thoughts. We're 9 days out. Certain beat writers, you could kind of make out some consensus, what side of the ball at the very least, what position even, but still pretty volatile.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Webster published the first American dictionary today in 1828. Lincoln was shot today in 1865. When asked the question, which president began the tradition of throwing out the ceremonial first pitch, it was Taft today in 1910. The Titanic hits an iceberg late this evening. It would sink tomorrow. The first Cubs game broadcast on WGN was today in 1925. Berry Gordy founded Motown today in 1960. Les Habitants also today in 60 won their 5th consecutive title, sweeping Toronto.
Yeah, they were really good.
They really were. So was this Koufax guy, David. He was really good because he throws his 9th complete game on opening day today in 1964. By the way, that was his 9th complete game without allowing a walk.
On opening day?
It was opening day. It was his 9th complete game, but he did his 9th, I guess, without allowing a walk. I just thought that's pretty impressive.
Okay.
Today in 68, a couple of things happened. This one kind of shocked me. Do you know today was the first Knicks game at MSG in 68? I don't know where they played before that, but it was the first NBA game at Madison Square Garden today in 68. And also Bob Goldby wins the Masters.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
One shot ahead of Roberto DiVincenzo, who signed his scorecard incorrectly and was given a 2-stroke penalty and lost. Some music stuff for you. Judas Priest released British Steel today. That Living After Midnight and Breaking the Law. Bowie released Let's Dance today in 83. It introduced this unknown guitar player to a much larger audience. His name, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Today in 88, Public Enemy's second album, It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. Don't Believe the Hype, Bring the Noise was on that album. The Blackhawks became the first NHL regular season champion, the President's Trophy, in 20 years to lose the first round. They would lose to the Minnesota North Stars. Bill Nye the Science Guy premiered today in 83. Faldo wins the Masters against Norman. His Collapse today in 96. Metallica sued Napster today in 2000, and none of us were getting free music anymore.
Nope.
Tiger goes back-to-back in 02. Prince plays his last concert today in 2016 at the Fox Theater in Atlanta. Last song, Purple Rain. Beyonce, the first Black woman to headline Coachella. It was the most watched performance ever on YouTube today in 2018. Tiger wins the Masters again today in 2019. And Scheffler gets his first 2 years ago. Marvin Miller, who was the big name behind the Players Union. That same Roberto DiVincenzo, Loretta Lynn, and Pete Rose would have all celebrated birthdays today. Bobby Nichols, Southwest Floridian. He's 90 years old today. Richie Blackmore, 81. David Justice and Greg Maddox are each 60. Michael Anthony Hall, 58. For Dickie V, Shake and Bake and Mark Macon, he's 57 today. Pride of Buena Vista High School, it's not there anymore. Steve Avery, 56. UFC boxer Anderson Silva, 51. Sarah Michelle Gellar, 39. Baker Mayfield is 31. Chase Young, 27. Patrick Surtain, 26. And Nugget Jalen Williams is 25. What did I miss?
Well, first off, how differently would we think of Greg Norman if he had won the Masters in 96?
Unbelievably.
It's amazing. Of all the people who have blown tournaments and lost, is there a more epic one than the 6-shot lead on Sunday at the Masters?
Well, and he lost by 5. I mean, it was an
Right.
11-shot swing. It
60.
wasn't just a collapse. It was an epic collapse.
Yeah, 67 to 78, right? So one of the most famous moments in Oscar history was today. I'm trying to remember if it was 68 or 69. But
tie.
yeah. So it was 69. Katharine Hepburn and Barbara Streisand for Best Actress. Hepburn didn't show. She had won it the year before. Nobody thought she was going to win. This was Streisand's debut in Funny Girl. So Streisand had the stage all to herself and uttered one of the most famous acceptance speeches lines, okay, when she looked at the Oscar in her hands and said, "Hello, gorgeous."
That it? That's all we missed? The tie?
The tie.
I wish hockey'd bring it back.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
For the good today, we're going to go to Kentucky. where Jessica and Kent Madison founded Wheelable Wilderness a little over a year ago. Kent has been in a wheelchair since he was 17. He was someone who loved the outdoors. He and his wife basically invented the Action Track wheelchair, which kind of like a four-wheel drive wheelchair, so we can go anywhere. Now they're letting other people, and they've made more so people have access to the outdoors, taking a bad situation and making it a good for many people. For the bad, we go to Jonesboro, Arkansas, where a 50-year-old woman got paid a little bit too much money, David.
Okay.
Instead of getting $16.50 an hour from Superior Senior Care, somehow there was an error for a 12-hour shift in which she was paid $1,650 for that time. It's about 20 grand for one day's work. Who wouldn't want the job? When asked about the money by investigators, she said she understood the money she had received was from a bank loan. And then she didn't repay it, blew all the money, and has been arrested. And finally, the ugly, we go to South Florida, where Miami-Dade police arrested Deanna Sierra. She, over the course of 8 days, bought multiple cars. She bought a Corvette Stingray, a BMW i8, and 3 Harleys. She lied profusely on her application, saying she made $180,000 a month. But the fraud isn't just limited to the 38-year-old woman. Apparently, a lot of the finance experts at the dealerships are in on it. So she's already gone down. Who she tells on next will bring more down. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, April the 14th. Get your taxes done, people. Brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Hiring new officers, offering great pay, a signing bonus, other jobs available. If you're looking to get to the Cape, capecops.com. capecops.com.
9 games in the NHL. All the playoff teams have been determined. Seeding has not. So there are quite a few games with seeding implications. Here's the irony. The ESPN NHL doubleheader tonight, 2 games with absolutely no meaning at all. Washington at Columbus, Pittsburgh at St. Louis. The only meaning that you could get out of it. A lot of people think it will be Ovechkin's last game.
And I'm okay with them putting Washington on just for that reason. It's
I
the
am too.
leading goal scorer. He deserves to be televised for his last game, if it indeed is his last game. I for sure think if it is, it's just North America.
NBA play-in, 7:30, 10 o'clock, both games on Amazon Prime. Heat in Charlotte. Hornets a 5.5-point favorite at 7:30. Portland in Phoenix. Phoenix a 3.5-point favorite at 10 o'clock. There you have it. And then obviously baseball. And everybody's playing. Everybody's playing. Rays are on the south side. Coming off the sweep of the Yankees. Rays taking on the White Sox. Everybody else back where they were yesterday.
I got to be honest, in the NHL tonight, the Bruins are playing at home against the Devils. They'll probably win. They should win. I'm rooting against them, and it's not being anti-Boston. I want Boston to lose. I want Ottawa to win because I think Boston has a better shot than Ottawa to take Carolina down in the first round. That's my reasoning behind it. I think Carolina-Boston as a first-round series could be pretty damn sexy. And for that matter, Ottawa-Buffalo would be a little more fun than people would think.
Which is funny because I'm showing my age going back to what was it, the Adams division. I want the Bruins to get the 2 points, okay, to ensure that they're playing the Sabres.
Well, for the same reason I think Boston could give Carolina a series, I know they could give Buffalo one as well. I want Buffalo out of the first round. I want them winning.
But there's a lot of games with playoff seeding implications. Okay. You know, Montreal's in Philly. Will the Flyers play with anything in the tank tonight? Will they play the regulars? It's totally meaningless for them. Meanwhile, for Montreal, they're battling for home ice with the Lightning. If Philly gets a regulation win tonight, the Lightning are guaranteed finishing in second place. So there you go.
And all Tampa needs is a point to get second place. They host the Rangers tomorrow. And come on, how do you not get a point against the Rangers? Unless, of course, the Detroit Red Wings, and it matters.
So there you have it. 2 NBA play-in games.
Oh, yeah, those.
Right. ESPN's got the NHL doubleheader. Amazon's got the NBA doubleheader. And, well, baseball's baseball. Enjoy.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Well, Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton